RNI. RANI is halted to the upside, just opened up. I have a 99% chance of being right with this comment that Sharif is going to be on this stock. Because why? Because it's gapped up 260. It just hit another halt band and did not halt, so it just got to the band and is not halting. But it's above VWAP. It's a huge gapper, which means Sharif is contractually obligated to trade it. Trust me, I've read the contract. It's about to halt again. We are hoping filling for Sean and myself. You know who I am. I don't even know why I just said that. Now let's go over to the midday. We got Joey options. We've got Sharif. Get it on Ronnie, Sharif.
Get it on Ronnie.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That right there is your boy Joey, Stone Cold Options. And I'm Sharif. And what's up, everyone? I got to concentrate over here. LBRT is on the warpath to the high side. Here we go, 1328. I've got 1269 on right now. Here we go. It's moving up, breaking out as we speak through 13, keeping my eye on this one. But shout out to Buffalo Soldier and High Vibrations. We got Game On and Brown Lightning. Shout out to Danny Patel. We got Gabriel as well as Julian. Ichiro's in the house, and so is Laura, Ox Long, and Be Free. Shout out to Sloth. Love you, Joey. You're getting love in the chat. Joseph Option. Shout out to Evan and Vanessa Arnold. Brown Lightning as well as Why Not. Shout out to Denise. Michelle, you're always throwing love in the chat, Denise. We love you right back, girl. Shout out to JG and Haley, Nichelle, Victor Ty, and Mike P.D. Ryder. Shout out to Be Free, Vanessa Arnold, Sean Woodman. A lot of new names. I like that. Bob Smith, Liquidity Knots, Farmer Bob, Steve Knight, and Nygaard. Shout out to the OG Unreg and Hangry Wife. We got Whist, Chunky, Trades, and Dijon Mustard. We got, who else, man? JG, Boo Hater, and Johnny. Come on. Benton C, come on, you Gunners. Finally, we're back. The Prem is back this weekend. No more international break, Joey. One more here. Big 40 nephew, and I lied. Patrick Riley's in the house as well. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rob Banks, daily, no, I usually go a couple of weeks out on the old C spreads there, whatever they may be. All right, guys, rocking and rolling this morning. Let's see what we got up to. Couple attempts on the short here on Tesla. Attempt 1 stopped, attempt 2 super tight stop. Boom, we get a move, that's a break even, and then we get a nice little move to the downside there. Nothing substantial, still slightly red on this name. IBIT is another one that we were trading today. We go long here, aggressive, and I was like, at this point, you know what? There's no longs in the crypto space. What am I doing? And then we flip short, pop, take that move to the downside, and then we get stopped up, break even, small amount there, and we try one more attempt at the hold of some key support levels on IBIT, and then we get stopped out. So we'll go 1 for 3 on IBIT. And I mean, this one was a decent trade, so we won't complain about that. And yeah, now we're starting to grind, but this is all chop. For me, I don't think we are ready to climb. And then what else did we trade today? Oh yeah, advanced money destroyer for me today. This was doing everything and some. So we try a long at the break of some key levels there, get stopped out, but then we flip short at the snap of 332. Bang, we get a nice little couple point move to the downside, so we'll take that all day. And then one more on TSM. There we go. We got it. No, we don't got it yet. There we go. So yeah, I mean, just a small scalp on TSM, so not too bad. In and out on that one. Bang, we take up 50 cents there, a little bit more than that on that specific trade. No real longs, to be honest with you, in continuation. I'm just kind of stuck in scalp mode right now. And yeah, slightly red on the session, so we'll be able to sort that out here momentarily. So sitting on the hands, being patient trade.
All right, guys. LBRT is really going here. It's not up big yet. It's only up 13.4%, but look at this move. So we get in on the 10 EMA pullback. It's getting awfully extended now, having taken out the $0.50. And by say extended, I'm giving, I'm making that assessment based upon where the 10 EMA is versus where the price is. So we're about, I want to say 60 pennies, give or take, away from that 10 EMA, and that is, that's not usual for this name. As you can see, this was really hugging the 10 EMA. I'm talking about LBRT. So in order to get back into this one, I need it to pull back in a little bit. I don't have to have it come back in and test 13, the breakout level, or the 10 EMA, but it's got to pull back into a little bit more of, yeah, an appropriate area for me, because I'm not going to punch in at highs. So we're keeping an eye on LBRT. Very interested in working back into this one. Separately, we've got RANI on watch, because, where is it? All right, RANY, show yourself. LBRT, just let me organize myself. Yeah, we're gonna have to take off this one. There we go, RANI. This one's still halted, showing $1.78. So we're about 8 pennies away from the halt level. Now we're open on RANI. Keep your eye on the bid side of the level 2 to see if there's any big buyers backstopping any price descent. Looks like we're going to drop down. The breakout level is between 150 to 155, but it does look like it's going to be a halt parameter initiating here at 163. If we stay at this level for a little bit longer, about 4 more seconds, we should halt, and we'll get the gray out, and it will be looking like the first down halt on the day for RANI. Big move for it, 246% in Greensville. We'll see how this one does once it is reopened. But right now, as I see it, it is all gas on LBRT, 13.25% now. Looking for a pullback. I'm just not going to punch in at highs, guys. Lastly, DUSD, we got this at 92s, waiting now at 95s for a print, showing me 94s, looking for a move past 10. Again, this is not a big mover on the day, about 13% and change. And I should also warn you, this is an Amex stock. So if it does, for whatever reason, start getting parabolic and it halts, we'll have to fly blind during the periods when it is halted, as we will not be able to see the theoretical auction price, so we won't know who's in charge, buyers or sellers. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now, but I've got more on the side chart, so let's get right to them. We've already spoken about RANI. Thank you, Neil, for that, by the way, because I didn't even have eyes on that. REKR. I'm keeping an eye on this as well. It's not parabolic either, but it's respectful of the trend, and it's picking up, finding a bid at the 10 EMA. Having a lot of trouble clearing 310, but we're getting certainly higher lows in an accumulation for a possible 310 breakout. This interests me greatly. ACH, are you kidding me, bro? Look at LBRT still going, man. All right, I'll get to that in a second, but ACHV had a big day yesterday in the aftermarket around 5 o'clock. You get a parabolic breakout. We're not above, sadly, the aftermarket high, which is trading around 480, but we are above the pre-market high. So, you know, I'll just take that, and I'll pick it up off the 10 EMA. It looks like it's finding support, possibly VWAP at 405. I'm talking about ACHV. Going on here, another multiple halter on the day, STI. Let me just add that in. It's about 21.6% up. This is trying to hold trend here. I don't mind picking this up at around $21. It's much more spready, so you're going to have to, you know, make sure you're trading that appropriately. And yeah, man, this is Joseph. It's the LBRT show, bro. This thing is all gas, no freaking brakes. Look at this.
All right, dude.
I mean, I took the breakout through 13. It always has a way of making me feel awfully freaking silly. Look at this thing go, dude. Dang. Here comes 14, Joey. 13.85. You're getting the squeeze right now on LBRT. It's still not even that big of a percentage winner. We're knocking the door 16%, but it feels like this one is destined to hit that whole dollar at 14.
Yes, sir. All right, yeah, let's take a look at what we got going on here this morning, guys. Some of the names on our radar. Lots of chip names. What are you guys thinking about this setup potentially right here? Excuse me, shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2 potentially there, so keep an eye out on that. Bitcoin slightly choppy this morning here, guys. Now heading into the top end of this resistance zone. You can see that downtrend still fully intact. We have those consistent lower highs on that one there, so keep an eye out on that. We did catch the top on Tesla, but we didn't hold it long enough, so shout out to Obi and Neil for catching that one as well too. AMD heading towards some key support levels, so we'll keep an eye on AMD. With that being said, let's pull up the old chain and see what we got going on with advanced money devices.
Duplicator. It's been duplicating lately. I know it's destroyed out at one point, but you know.
Bang! It was getting, oh yeah, it was slack, but it's duplicator now, for sure.
Totally.
So there it is, guys, like 225. There's a little bit of a put wall, so you can classify that as a potential bounce area. With that being said, I like it. We'll go back to the chart there momentarily. Let's go to the most liquid chart here and pull it up to see what we got going on. 240, 22,000, 37,000 contracts traded on this session. Let's pull up this old chart. Bang, bang.
74.
And see what we got going on. And this is what I'm talking about. We want to see some liquid contracts here. This is the 4-hour. We're going to zoom into the 5-minute for all my intraday scalpers. And bang, from $5.29, essentially worthless at this point there, guys. So writing, you're cashing out on that. So that's back in October 60. Oh, I mean, it's still only yesterday that this thing was worth $5. Now not worth very much. And that iron condor that we were talking about not too long ago on Tesla with that 407 and that 450 range, really coming into play. So some beautiful stuff. Is the options pricing chart e-signal? It is not e-signal, my friend. It is something else. But yeah, it is not e-signal. So I'm curious to see if we get that break. What was the high on Tesla? 440. Let's actually pull up that chain to see what we got going on. If that was a specific level that we wanted to keep our eyes on, 440, 28,000 right there, 124K. Wow, 124 contracts traded at that specific level. And then we can correlate that with the high of today. That's going to be around 440.81. The volume and the open interest is displaying itself. So maybe we can continue that move to the downside on today's session. I'm looking for a further breakdown on AMD. Want to catch the top end of the range, not the lower end. So we'll continue to monitor that. And what you want to do is essentially post up, don't chase. And I like what someone else in the chat was saying. Put those stops in, widen it, less shares, set and forget. See if that price target hits. One thing or the other is going to happen. It either hits your stop loss or it hits your profit target, or you just get sick of sitting in there and you cut it out for whatever it may be. But there goes AMD snapping that 231.18 level, Sharif, heading back towards the downside. Bitcoin rejecting that trend line once again. So let's see if we're going to get a continuation in the fade on today's session.
All right, Joey, we're back in here. LBRT, we're taking out levels. We're in at 83. We went the beak up there into the 96 penny level. I've got planned DCAs here to get more shares. I don't know if they're as valid as they were about a few minutes ago when I did put them on. So let's continue to watch the price action here as it develops a little bit further, as we, I don't want to say consolidate, as we accumulate into that $14 area. Still no prints above said $14 area with 97 penny high. We're going to keep tabs on that one separately. We're taking more prints here on DUST. Get it, Dusty. We're taking this one into 10, looking for a $10 break. What do we got on this one, Joey? We got 82s, showing me 96s. We're looking to front run this with a beak wetter here in front of 10, and then we're going to hold for the break of 10. But there goes Come on, get it together, Chief. LBRT again into 97s. I'm going to go ahead and post now above 14. I'm going to post, yeah, let's go ahead and wait at 12s. I'm looking for a liquidity spike or, you know, it's the squeezing of shorts into that $14 area. That's what I'm looking for there. Separately, opposite trade is we get more shorts entering in at 14, a critical level of resistance that overwhelm the bids, and then we drop back down, in which case hopefully I'll get printed at my dip trade there. There goes 14.05 now, the high of the day. I'm waiting at 7s, no print, liquidity grab here into 14, back down below 14. Again, we go, Joe.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Nice little move to the downside here on TSM. Let's keep an eye on the tape. What we want to see is those continuous flushes at the bid. All right, guys, let's go over to Adara, see what she's got for us.
Yeah, what I have here is gold. GLD, as we know, has been a little bit weaker. And now we have commentary coming from Bill Gross, an investor who's worked with most recently Janus Capital. But he's saying that gold has become a momentum or meme asset. So if you want to own it, wait a while. Bill Gross, maybe a little bit short-term bearish or cautious at the very least on gold. Also, we have comments coming from Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico. She's saying that Mexico's trade talks with the U.S. are going very well. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Bang, there we go. We piece a little bit out there. We're getting the move. We're cracking through some key support levels, and that's exactly what we want to see displayed. So there it is. We don't have too much size on this because I am selling the lower end of the range, and we have to be cautious of potential bounces. We'll take a little bit more off here, Sharif, as we put in a new low there. So we want to kind of just lock in these profits as we're continuously bleeding. That's 40 cents, just like that. That's a fact, Jack. Mike Peter Ryder, we like that one. Continue to sell. If it comes back, I have one more out on this name, and there it goes, the break of support. This is exactly what we want to see. Now, AMD, same thing. I'm like, okay, if these chips are going to be relatively weak, let's get involved. Haven't even looked at NVDA today, so let's take a gander at that name. Exact same setup potentially. If it cracks the volume-weighted average price here, let's pull it up here so we can speak about it. If it cracks, I'm going to be looking for the exact same play. That's the support level at 231. That's that support level at 297s, and we have the exact same thing at 181 on NVDA. I brought to you guys the call of the day, the new, I'm not going to say the hottest, but I'm going to say it's the hottest trick, the new one. It's the new call of the day. Let's see what we got going on with the NVDA options chain. I mentioned, oh, Jesus, not him. Jumping Jehoshaphat. All right. Yeah, see, there you go. Oh, my days. So here it is, guys. 185 is that next level. 200 has a high concentration. Well, guess what? That level at 195 really starting to come into play, but those contracts are starting to close. 94.60. Yeah, guys, everyone coughing. It is that season here in Canada. As the temperature starts to change, it just goes around. Yeah, like a bad habit. So there it is, 195. Not too bad there. Let's get out of this TSM as it's coming back to our break even there, Sharif. But those fades, high levels of open interest on all these chip names, looks like a good time to fade them.
All right, Joey. We're out of LBRT, trying to work back in. As it did, I was using prior bar low as my stop placement, so I did get stopped out, but it ended up holding 75. So I'd like to get back in over here. Let's see what we can do. We're going to get back in. It's not letting me in. I'm having to chase it. There we go. Now we get the break and a beautiful fill, man. Through 14, we got 94, so we did get that $14 break. We got shares on here, so let's see if we can get a bit more on 14. This is the second time we've been through 14, so I'm posting ahead of 14, and then we're going to wait for a break of 14.10. I'm not waiting at 13s. That's crazy. So keeping an eye on that one. 14.05 high a day, 75 buyer, but there is, a candle of indecision, the one that closed at 11.10. This current candle is not a candle of indecision. So I'm trying to pack my patience on this one with a beak wetter through 14, looking for a little bit more. Separately, we're still holding shares here on DUSD. It is, it's consolidating in front of 10. I did anticipate this, obviously, knowing full well 10 is going to be an important resistance level, 998 area high. The trade that I've said very little about is REKR. We're break even on it. I've got sixes. It's showing me sixes right now. What I'm getting involved with this for is a hold above 3. It had a whole lot of trouble breaking through 3. In fact, when it broke it at around 10 o'clock, it lost it pretty quickly and dropped back down into about 2 low 90s. So I'm looking for continuation here and a retest of that 316 high of day. Back now again to RT. Here we go above 14 again. We're still getting selling though in the low 14s. 14.04, 14.05. Let's see now as the tape starts moving a little bit more, and you can very much see that there's a bit of an equilibrium right now between buyers and sellers. We're not able to clear that 14 decisively, so I have to be alive to that in case the bid drops and there's a whole lot of selling as the people either take profits and or get short. So that's my look right now on LBRT. I'm looking for continuation. I don't mind adding into this position if it's warranted. In the same way, bang, on DUSD, we get the print now at 999s, and now we're gonna look for more, man. Let's go ahead and wait. I'm gonna wait for above 10, I'm gonna wait at 10.15, so this will be a decisive break of 10 if I'm gonna get printed on this. I don't mind adding. I like 990 as an area to add. Take a gander over here at what we did at 990 on the one, area rejection, area rejection, area rejection, reject, finally clear, and then we get into 10. So if we lose 10, I'm looking for 990 as an area hold. So that's my look there, but there goes Dusty. Get it, Dusty. Where are you at, Dusty? We're now well above 10, and that is 10.02 high of day now on my friend DUSD. Looking for that 10.15 spike. Last but not least, LBRT continues to dance in front of 14, Joey.
Good look there, my friend. All right, let's see. We're in another chip short here, breaking of the same support levels. There goes NVDA cracking at that lower end of the range. Maybe we'll get involved some small size on NVDL to see if we can get that potential breakdown here, guys. It looks like it wants to start rocking and rolling. We're going to be patient to see if we can get this MU trade to start cooking up for us. But now NVDL looks like it wants to head to the south side. So we'll start relatively small on that one as it's continuing to slowly bleed. It is bouncing. I think it's going to be a more tricky one there. We got a little bit of a move there on MU. Nothing substantial, only about 10-20 cents or so. We want a little bit more. We're looking for them dollars. The dollar is what I need. So yeah, so shout out to that. There it goes. We're starting to break down a little bit again. Let's get involved in some of these chip names to the downside because we like these potential support level breaks. As you can see, there it goes on NVDA. So there it is. All right, come on, MU, breakdown. There goes NVDA to the top side. So bouncing off of that VWAP level, let's see if that can be sustained. If the market wants to curl over, we're going to be positioned relatively well here for this potential breakdown. I mean, we were running up into that 183.5 level and then now starting to come back in. So let's be patient to see if we can cook something up. Same thing, there it is. Let's just pull up the charts here so you guys can see significantly better. MU, no, don't do that to me. NVDL, you're starting to slowly work. But MU, bouncing off that level, as long as the buying pressure stays relatively subdued, we like our chances here for continuation. So we'll hold on to that. AMD still bleeding. And then we had the likes of Bitcoin starting to break through that downtrend. Now 5-minute candle opening on the back side of that. So not too bad there. But the market is most definitely starting to bleed a little bit more, guys. Are we going to seal that wound or are we going to let it bleed out? Let's let it bleed out. Sell everything. Yeah, let's rock and roll. There goes NVDL to the downside. Let's pull it up on our chart here so you guys can see. We're rocking and rolling here this morning. Bang. A nice little move there. And you can see what we're in at on NVDL, 87.16s. And then we top into 50s there. So as quick as you like, Sharif, we get a nice little move. And then now we got MU working for us too, my brother. And it's starting to bleed. Support levels cracking. Let's rock and roll.
Attaboy, Joey. All right, we're going to shout out Joey Options and LBRT. We get the print into the high of the day. I took exactly 12s. That is the high of the day, now showing 11s. So it does look like it's going to take that level out and up 18%. LBRT has got the juice to let some of this loose, baby. But I got a new position over here, RNI. So I see a bit of consolidation above a previous technical level. I'm talking about this 150 to 155. It's more 150 to be fair. Look at all the close or the wicks that did reject that 150. Only one print breached it in the pre-market at 9:15, and then it had to be about 10:50 before we took out 150 decisively. At 10:50 a.m., we took out $1.50 decisively. So I've got now 167s on. I've wet the beak into 171. I'm looking for more, though, man. RNI, I'm looking for a price spike into 183. We've got more over here waiting at mid-70s and then low 80s. So packing my patience on RNI. This is much more volatile than any of the other ones that I'm trading. So I did give the stop a wider spread in case it finds an area of illiquidity and my stops don't trigger. There's the other print now on RNI as we continue to head up. Now waiting in the high 70s. Let's go ahead and also post in the low 80s. We're going to wait at 82s for a nice price spike up there. So keeping my eye on that. And then my boy Dusty still doing well here, holding 10 for now, but it's going to have to get up to 10.15 for me to take out the print. REKR is the only one that is just annoying the hell out of me. I don't like the way that this is finding topping tail candles into 310. That's going to end the trade. We'll take a 3-penny loss on this one and we'll move on. If it sets up a bit better and it cleans up its act, we'll get back involved. Until then, it's on, you know what, my crap list. So we're going to keep tabs on that. LBRT continuing to print higher highs, man. There has been no red candles on LBRT on the 5-minute chart since 10:50. It is 11:25, so you can do the math there. We've got a lot of strength on this one. but it behooves you to keep an eye on it. And there goes RNI REKR Joseph Wilson into the high of the day. And we take out the high of the day print. Let's go ahead now and wait a little bit higher here at 88. Shout out to my boy CD Lamb. Hopefully the Cowboys can straighten up their act. And we're also going to wait in front of 2 Joey. RNI up 275%. Looking for more.
Bang, more. I need more. Small potatoes, small potatoes. There it is. Almost a dollar club on that one there on the MU short there.
Joey.
We'll take a little bit more off there, guys. We only have 10% remaining, and we'll hold on to this for the Drizzy. Drizzy. Yeah, I'll never do that again, I promise. But yeah, in all seriousness, guys, there goes the market starting to come back in a little bit, cracking through some key support levels. We've seen that yesterday. I mean, hey, Gorb, full disclosure, man, still slightly red on the day, but we're rocking and rolling, man. We're just slowly chipping a chair. You guys know what I say, just chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. So keep real, not show. Sharif, yeah, I mean, Sharif is as real as it gets, which is why you're allowed today's profit taking. Yeah, for me, I'm full on scalp mode. A little bit more of $1.50. I'm looking to take it out. I'm not going with any crazy continuation. Control Alt Escape. We lit today for sure, man. We're excited. We're gonna play some hockey tonight. McCormick's Arena, 9 p.m. Check your boy out there. McCormick?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a barn, brother.
Yeah, it's a barn?
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, well, no, it's not literally a barn. It's just like a small, small arena. Yeah, but it's where the real dogs go to play, man. You can't be a small puppy coming around the McCormick's arena because you'll get bullied out in that neck of the woods for sure. So it's only for the big dogs and big dogs only. You know, I'm obviously being sarcastic. Oh, hold on.
My bad.
Oh. All right, I'll stop. Take that key away from me. Take that key away. There goes Sharif. There goes Sharif. I'll stop. I know.
You're killing me,
I'll stop just for you. No, but in all seriousness, guys, a nice move on MU there. A bounce off of NVDA. We got all out of that trade. Tapes was slightly flipping. Let's take a look at it right now. And you can see we're just chopping around. So we're just in between. And then the flush will come to the top side. Bang, there's a nice little move. And you can see the size really starting to kick in. So I'm totally happy with getting out right there. Also, Gorab, we're going to bring it down to the 1 minute. Ooh, this might be an absolute dangerous play right here. A nice indecision print off of those lows. Repeat offender. It's done it on multiple occasions if you're trying to play that. But guys, what does this look like to you? If you ask me, this looks like exactly. So, I mean, by all means, if you're cracking some of these necklines, watch out for some more potential downside. But other than that, MU, we might get stopped out, break even our last little move, but we caught $1 on that one. Bitcoin breaking up, so not too bad there. I'm not going to grab anything just yet. I'm going to be patient on this one.
I punched.
You punched?
I punched at $60 today.
Oh, that's a good play. That's a good play.
And
that's
to me, like, I don't have to have the bottom, but I'm going to get, you know, I wanted to add, I've been wanting to add for a little bit now. So I'm going to add, right?
I think that's a good opportunity.
In the long term, though. I want to make that very clear. We're not swinging any of these.
Not swinging any.
I have no Bitcoin in my swing. None.
Okay.
It's all I'm looking. It's all
other equities there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah. Keep that in the long term for sure. And I mean, if this candle closes like this, I think we got a good chance of bouncing. I wanted to see it below key support levels. Sorry, 1 second, Sharif, before I send it back to you, brother. I want to actually pull up a better chart of Bitcoin because I think it's really important for us to know for all my crypto individuals out there as well too. You know, I'm as bullish as it gets in the space, but I also like getting things at better prices as well too. Why? Because I can start rocking and rolling, and we can get hefty. Carter asked me if I'm grabbing contracts. I don't think I'm going to get off the jump with contracts just due to the increase in volatility, but here it is. This is the support level I was referring to earlier. This was just pure a bait. I'm so surprised at this move. This was the ultimate bull trap right here, and then sure enough, they just tanked the underlying, and now it traded to a low of around 103.82. If we get another indecision print, we consolidate around these specific levels, I'm most definitely going to be looking for a potential swing tree.
All right, man. I'm still holding RNI. It's dealing here with this mid 180s. I want to say low 180s, to be fair. High 170s, low 180s, hanging out around there, 186 high. My next print, by definition, will have to be a new high a day. I'm waiting at 88. 86 is the high, as I mentioned. Packing my patience on this one. It's neither an area for me to take prints or add into the position. So I'm going to stay clear, hang on. Look at this. It's not moving. It's chopping, churning millions of shares, and the price action isn't moving right now. So a little bizarre there. The other position we've got on DUSD. DUSD continues to print highs above 1004 high, new high there, but much slower of a mover than its counterparts. Lastly, Joey, I hate getting out of trades early. I hate it. Look at this. I want you to see this. Entry, scalp, entry, scalp, scalp. I mean, bro, and I don't have enough shares.
I know.
And we're continuing to print highs. So LBRT, guys, this is the one today, I think, because it's not really putting any red candles. And I wanted to wait for a 10 EMA pullback. It's not giving me the opportunity. So I've got to adjust my style and pick it up off what I see as a 50% retracement on the prior candle. That's the only move that I've got in my arsenal. Where else am I going to pick it up off? That's not random. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to base my entries off if I'm going to get in near highs. 50% retracement off the previous candle. That's what we did with the print that we've got. But look at it, take out the $0.50 now. LBRT's all gas, no brakes. We're going to have to pack our patience for another entry on there. And then back into RNI. Keeps price spiking into the mid-80s. I'm trying to think about how to deal with this one. Should I give it to prior bar low, which is at 73? Because we got a doji candle that just formed right now, and a candle of indecision, and this one is turning red, and I don't really want to be DCAing into a multiple halter, quite frankly. I'm going to want to take the directional trade, the sort of the breakout trade, if I could call it that. So I don't think I want to give it to prior bar low. I have 67s on. It's showing me 64, 65 as the 10 EMA, of which has been quite respectful. So here it is. It's dropping back down into my area now. Let's watch. Let's see if I can get in here. I might add a little bit more. If it drops back down, I will flatten out if it loses the 10 EMA. I don't have to wait for a closing print on that. So that's what I'm waiting for. RNI, price spike up again. Let's watch. Let's watch as it dip back down. Give me another entry opportunity. RNI. Yeah, this one is, I think I'm going to get in a little bit more here, Joey.
Okay.
I think I might, because it's a higher, well, it's holding trend, saving except for the doji candle that just closed on the 5. But that candle did print the high of the day. That's what concerns me, right? It prints the high of the day, 186, and then it ends up as a doji candle, and then the subsequent candle is a red candle to make a new low. It's not what I want to see. It's not what I want to see at all. But I'm going to get in over here because it's still holding the 10 EMA, and I like my entry. So we're going to give it to the 10 EMA. If it loses the 10 EMA, I'm done. Simple as that. What do you got?
Into play just yet. All right, Adair, what do you got for us?
What I have here is crypto, and I want to take a look here at the weekly chart on BTC. Because we've looked at the daily, like this, we went from all-time highs last week early last week / late the week before. Now we are, the low of the week here is 103. So we moved like over 20,000 in this period. Lots of volatility for crypto. And as mentioned, talked about that daily level of 108,000. You can see it's very clear in the weekly as well. And it was that previous all-time high resistance level. So this level that we're at is significant. Let's see if Bitcoin can break this 2-week losing streak tomorrow. But I do want to mention, it's not the first time we've had a bit of a slump after making all-time highs and then recovered really nicely. I think when we had these all-time highs in August, pushing up into 120 or just below 125,000, then we sold off for 3 weeks, including that week that we made that high, and then we came right back up to new all-time highs. So this could be all fine and dandy for Bitcoin, but I did want to contextualize it, chart a little bit more. Here's Ethereum on the weekly. ETH on the weekly, much like Bitcoin, still in an overall uptrend, maybe struggling a bit. We'll take a look as well at Solana. Solana, as I've said previously, I think holding its uptrend a little bit better maybe than some of these other crypto names. And I would say that seems to be the case even on a longer term chart like the weekly. Take a look at Cardano to end things off. Cardano on the weekly looking a lot weaker, no pun intended. There's some clear support here around that 0.5 level, but you know these lower highs could end up being a bit of a flat top. Bottom breaks that out here for ADA. So quick look here at some crypto charts on the weekly level as we end this trading week. Back to you.
All right, you got anything you want to cover?
Yeah, watching Rainy, we got back in, scalp up into 77s. It's still holding the 10 EMA, so we did add at that area low. I like my entry but I just need this to continue above 180. So I am concerned that it does lose that 63 penny area. It's still holding above said 10 EMA, but definitely not finding the same kind of bid that it had to the upside. But I also want to bring your attention to the other one here, LBRT. It's still continuing to print high at days, 1463 now, the day's high, and still no red candles on the 5. So you still got a lot of strength in this one. And then last but not least, one that we've been seeing a lot of lately, STI. Look at this thing, up 24.34, up nicely on the day to the tune of 32.33%. It is more spready and less liquid, but it's got a hell of a chart pattern here with significantly, well, very, very good, clean, higher highs, higher lows, save and except for these pullbacks over here. And there only have been 2 on the day so far at 10:35, 10:40, those 2 candle pullbacks, and then one at 11:05. Other than that, it's been a symphony of green. We're going to continue to watch over here and see what we can get on a pullback here for LBRT. Guess what happened? So, you know, I sent in my old, my 13 Pro Max to get as a substitute, as a trade-in for my new phone. So today they sent me a message of like, your phone doesn't qualify. And they're charging me $450. Yeah, bro, it just got rinsed. And no explanation as to why my phone doesn't qualify. So I'm just going to sell that bad boy on the private market.
All right,
Get it back. I'll probably get more than $450.
Yeah.
It's just like so random out of nowhere.
Get those guys out of here, man.
Yeah, and so a firm is charged. Look at this. Look, we're on the same day. Since the original trade-in date that was given at the time of purchase no longer applies, we're going to charge your Visa $450 today.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me know today that you're going to charge me today.
Right away. Yeah. And then when they owe you money, they take years to give it to you. So I don't know what's up with that. But anyways, never mind. Oh, the Xiaomi phone is sick, man.
It's sick, but you know that they're not proliferating here, right?
No, you can't get that.
Absolutely. Xiaomi made its bones copying Apple, right?
100%.
It calls itself the Pro and the Pro Max.
Yeah, literally everything.
They don't try to hide it.
Even from like the interface and everything is like the Apple. Wow, there goes NVDA to the downside, guys. This is what we were talking about, a big time move. I'm happy to get out. There goes Bitcoin fading off a quadruple top. So these fades are most definitely coming into play. I'm looking to fade the black here, guys. So shout out to whoever sings that one. I have no idea. I don't think, Sharif, I don't think you would know fade to black. Who band sings that?
You always set me up for failure.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I was trying to. All
right, Joe, I got to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I got to interrupt. RNI is breaking out, guys. Here we go into the high of the day. We just took out some there at 86s. We're waiting for more, Joey. We're waiting in the 90s now. It printed a new high of day, 88s, but true to form, retracing, and now I'm going to have to be careful. This thing is crazy, dude. It prints a high of the day, then immediately retraces down. So I'm happy with the second ad. We get in, scalp out, get back in, scalp out, but I'm greedy, man. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, because then the trading gods are going to look down upon me, Joseph, and not in a good way. I jest, of course. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to be ambitious for the price that I get here in front of 2, but you know, it keeps retracing off area highs, so I have to be careful with this one. I'm keeping a close eye on it. I'm moving up my stop as I take more prints, so we'll see what we get here, accumulating into 82s, looking for a little bit more. And Joseph.
Yes, sir.
You know, it was your birthday not that long ago.
Yeah.
But there's another birthday today. And it's a person that we talk a lot about. It's not Ram. Her birthday's on the 22nd, so we're still waiting for that. Your friend Ozan's birthday is today. Can you hit the cash cow, O? You got the cash cow there, brother? Because Ozan loves the cash cow. Happy birthday, Ozan. Throw your love for the OG Ozan in the chat. Happy birthday, brother. I'm willing to bet he's at the very young age of probably like 54, 55, something like that. All right, shout out to my boy
Ozan.
Shout
out to Ozan, man.
Shout out, give your love to Ozan in the chat, guys. It's his birthday today. Shout out to the OG.
Ozan's 23rd birthday today, man. Yeah, let's go crazy. We're cooking up a storm. Hopefully you're making some cash money on your $1,000 cash money on your birthday, my friend.
Calls on Ozan.
Calls on Ozan. Yeah, absolutely, man. Big time birthday, calls on that individual. There it goes, the market putting in a little bit of a bounce at those support levels. Let's see if we get another rebound, construct a lower high, and then maybe we continue this fade. Who knows what's going on? I mean, let's pull up the SPY and see how we've been trading. And I think we're still within that previous Friday's range, a whole month. Sorry, a whole week. Sorry, a month. Come on, get your act together. A whole month, just again. I said it again. A whole week, just trading within this range here, guys. And the way this candle's looking, I would not be surprised if we crack through those support levels. Anything south of that, we're looking for potential dip buys. But as for the SPY, April lows, we're gonna go to Liberation Day over here. Bang! Shut out Liberation Day, 37%. So that's an absolute beautiful move on the SPY, and the exact same thing with the Qs as well. So I'm sitting on my hands right now. They got the additional fade on NVDL, starting to get a little bit of a bounce. Gorev, I know you're looking for those inverted hammers, those hammer candles at lows. Let's see if we get anything cooking up, and keep our eyes on the tape. If that tape continuously displays weakness, I'm going to continuously look for those fades. But right now, a whole lot of continuing and continuation on my end. Joey. That's what I'm looking for, because I don't want to go against the grain right now. This week hasn't been the best week, but that's okay. We can turn things around. All it takes is a couple solid trades, and then kind of just switching up your mentality a little bit. If you've gone through the cyclical effects of the market, then you know you have to be able to adapt really, really quick. The quicker you adapt, because there will be edge erosion, right? So your trade system is not always going to work, and then that's when you have to go into that alternative system, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. You see me go through multiple scalps, because what I was doing before hasn't been giving me the risk to reward that I'm looking for. So let's change things up. Let's see if they work. So far, so good, Sharif. Let's continue on the path that we're on right now.
There goes Randy. Come on, give me that print, bro. I'm just waiting at 91s, man. Nah, it goes up into 90, doesn't give me the print back into 89. It's still making higher highs and higher lows. It feels, there it is, now 94. Here we go, guys. The second entry on RNI, $1.94 high. As we accumulate into that $2 breakout, we're up 300%. It's got the juice to let some of this loose, baby. We're going to keep an eye on RNI, and look, I don't mind adding more here. It just has to be at the appropriate levels. But Joey,
yes, sir.
You know what I just noticed?
What?
You know how Ram and Ozan have a lot of beef, right? You know, he got banned multiple times yesterday by our friend Fabian for talking smack to Ram. I just noticed that they have very, very close birthdays.
When's Ram birthday?
She's on the 22nd, bro. Yeah.
Oh.
You gonna do Ram like that?
I'm not gonna do Ram. She's not even here right now. Yeah, she's not even here right now. Yeah, she's doing her own thing.
Fabian, I can't hear you, brother. You remember my thing isn't working. Fabian, if we could maybe do that during the break when Neil's doing the lesson of the day, because I still can't hear Assassino. And I think I messed it up on my side, to be quite honest with you.
So it's Taco Friday.
Here we go, Joey. 94 highs, 95. We're back into that area high on RAN9. 95, large size here at 95, but it's just getting decimated. We took off a lot of size there at 95, dropping back into 94. Here we go again, looking for that $2 touch and drop. I expect resistance at $2. I mean, it's a whole dollar level. So what I've done is I'm looking to front run it here with a possible beak wetter at that 98 pennies, and then we're going to hold. We're going to hold for that $2 break and pop. And there's 95. Huge size came off the side of the book there at 95, but the hidden seller, the iceberg order, comes in and definitely prevents us from ascending anymore. So we're going to pack our patience on this one and just, wait for the print. It is a 96 penny area high now, not 95. Shout out to Tisha. If I felt comfortable shorting, I'd short at 202. Shout out to Tisha, but you know, Tisha, I don't really short these small cap gappers, and if I did, it would be my same rules, but in the inverse. So it would have to be below the volume weighted average price for me to get short, in the same way that it has to be above the volume weighted average price for me to get long. I did short these in late 2023, in early 2023, excuse me, because they didn't really have any go, right? Remember, we know 22 was a horrible year for the market, as well as obviously these small caps. 23 wasn't really a good year either, at least the initial part of it. And so then I started taking some of them short, and those were my rules then. Since then, I haven't really been shorting the small cap gappers, and there it is, Joseph. We take it out at 99s now. We got 72s in the second entry. We're going to pack our patience and wait for a $2 break. Boom.
All right, shout out Chief Keeving Company, NVDL. Again, I like what someone in the chat was saying. It's a bull trap. It's a bear trap. It's a bull trap. It's a bear trap. Yeah, I mean, by all means, it's a little bit choppy, the guys. A lot of overlapping candles on today's session. Keep your eyes on the tape. If you have access to the time and sales, it's going to help you wonders. I have some quote highlight on the L2 as well, but the tape, ooh, we like this one here because essentially, right, like you get the spoofing, you get people lifting orders on the level 2. Can't do that on the tape because those are real-time transactions, all right? So go with the flow, see what that's telling you there. I know you got something cooking up there, Sharif. I'm not in anything right now, waiting for that next potential scalp opportunity. Do I want to fade Bitcoin as it's been touching on the exact same levels on multiple occasions? Not just yet. We're going to pack our patience. Jedi. Are you hoping to Amazon ahead of earnings in options? No, sir, I will not be. Let's go. Can you pull that super chat up there? Thank you, Dominican pesos, for that one there. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up the options chain on Amazon. Again, guys, I'm really selective with my options contracts. Ozan loves being in them. Me personally, I like to use it to leverage a quality system. But as for, I'm not saying yours isn't, obviously that's not what I'm implying, but with mine in particular. So at the end of the day, guys, there's a lot of open interest at 230 on Amazon. I haven't looked at it just yet. If I was going to hop into Amazon, it would be via just shares because I don't want to have to worry about certain things, and I want to slowly allocate them. And then once the thesis is working, or I feel that we're ready to turn around, then that's when I would look to grab some contracts on AMZN. Now, as for that, let's pull up the daily and see what we got going on. And this is what I want to see. Keep cracking lower. Are we going to break through this key support level? I used the comparison with Amazon and Google's antitrust. Sharif, remember when we're like, hey, we weren't really taking into factor how much this was weighing on the stock. I'm looking at Amazon the exact same way with China tariffs. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
cool.
just digesting what you were saying.
Okay, all right.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Is our guy Wayner over there too? What's up? What's up, Wayner?
I'm involved. We're in the halt right now. Upside halt on RNI. So I was going to get to it, but you wanted to talk about Amazon. So
yes.
I have to go ahead.
Okay, well, go ahead. So, so as we crack 211 right there, anything south indecision prints around that neck of the woods, I'm going to be getting involved on Amazon.
Here it is, Joey.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Bang. Bulls. What's that guy's name again?
Which guy?
The guy on the left. I was going to say.
Which guy? The black guy or the white guy?
No, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson.
That's what I was like.
All right, here we are on RANI, guys. Halted 206. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. So the halt time, 11:44:34. The earliest this will be open is 11:49:34. The price that it halted at 206, the tapped, the current theoretical auction price, and we will be able to see the tap because this is a Nasdaq stock. So we're showing lower, man. We're showing 204s, 205. The halt level is, as I mentioned, 206. So let's see which way this cookie crumbles. We're still holding some here. We're looking for the continuation. I like the way that RANI has been trading. This is a good looking pattern, guys, and let me make my case as to why. Sure, there were a lot of wicks that probably annoyed you, but there's an established range. It's very clear that the initial area of resistance is $1.50. I mean, how many rejections do you need off that $1.50 to see that? In addition, it seems like it had, for the most part, support at VWAP, save and accept for a very brief moment over here when it did lose it and held that 115 area. Once it got above there, it really didn't look back. And it's been holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 since 10:50. That's almost an hour as it is now 11:47. So I did like the way that this was trading. In addition to that, once it broke the $1.50, take a gander at the support level that it was using. Yeah, that $1.50, right? It makes its way all the way up into 182, drops back down. You get a double support. Why? Well, you got price action support at 150, formerly resistance, of course, but it also conflates with the 10 EMA on the 5. I love to see correlation in that way. It gives me a bit more, I want to say, confidence, conviction in the trade to see that, that there is possibly 2 levels of support that get to backstop me there. So that's what we're keeping an eye on right now. We're going to keep an eye on RANY, and there goes Dusty into another high of the day, 10:07. We're still waiting at 10:15s. It's going to need a price spike up in order to get me printed. Dusty, not a big one, but up 15 15%. Joey.
Yeah, good look there, guys. Yeah, Gorev, nice work there on some of those hammer candle prints, man. Those are really working out today. I wasn't thinking that, so I'm glad that you got to participate on that front. We're short a little bit of Bitcoin. We gave it 10 cents, but we're giving it 10 cents, but we got to give it a little bit more to the break of this high, and it looks like it's going there right now, so I'll get out early. We'll take a loss on that one. That's okay. Bang. We're not worried about it. We don't want to stand in front of these shorts, so we'll sit on our hands a little bit longer to see if we can find something potentially to come into our favor as it's breaking through. Reason why? It's because, like, look at the multiple occasions, multiple touches here, and then you got the rejection, but now it looks like it wants to continue to climb higher. Let's head over to the higher time frames and see what we got there. 15-minute. Okay, so might fill the gap, head up into the 61 level. I think that's going to be the case there on IBIT. Glad we got out of that one. It was not going to work out, and we don't want to hold on to these losers whatsoever.
Here we go, Joe. Here we go. Boom! Into 14s. RNI open. 220 high. We took it out there at 15s. Excuse me. There it goes into 21. I should have been more alive to the open time, but I was trying to deal with this super chat for your boy Joey Options. Yeah. We're in another halt parameter here on RANI. It showed me 21s. We need a few more seconds here, and then we're going to get the gray out. RANI is him. RANI is him today, baby. Yeah, 369%. Okay, halt time, 11:50:13. That is the last print there, 11:50:13. So earliest, 11:55:13. We're going to keep tabs, certainly, on this one. But look at this, Joseph. Yo, my AMD options spread is holding up well. Sold 253 calls for 960 credit. Bought 200, I don't know what PX2 means, Joey, at 160 debit. Thoughts on whether I should roll my covered calls. P.S. Sharif, love the morning note. Love you right back, brother. Give him the look on that option.
Let's take a look there on the AMD options. I got to pull up the super chat one more time just so I can get some more details on that one there. There goes Bitcoin starting to come back in once again. I don't think I'm going to trade it because my accuracy hasn't been too great on it. We got a nice trade to the downside there. But as for my guy, Party Next Door, Party P.
I like Party Next Door.
I love Party Next Door. He's one of my my OGs, good, Mississauga man. Guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Straight from Mississauga. Yeah. Straight Mississauga. Break from Toronto.
Man, Giveon is growing on me too.
You like Giveon too? I love it.
Yeah, he's like old school R&B, like the old.
You like his voice?
I like his voice. I like the lyrics. There's a whole bunch I like about
Heartbreak Anniversary. Okay, Joey, my option spread is holding up well. So 235 calls for $960 credit. Brought 200 puts times 2, 160 debit. Thoughts on whether I should roll my covered calls? P.S. Love the morning note. Thanks, Sharif. I'm glad that you're liking that one there. Sharif puts his hard time. He's here bright and early every single morning. 235s. You're writing those. I think you'll be okay, to be honest with you, P. I think you'll be okay. You can roll those over. I mean, you're good right now. I'm not too sure when you sold those or when they expire. You can allow them to do so. Or if you think that you have the ability to catch a little bit more credit and continuously roll this, I like our chances. Maybe even give yourself a little bit more room, 242, 245s. I think you're still going to be collecting something half decent. But other than that, I do like that potential fade. I like that credit writing. And I also like how you're buying those 200 puts as well. So you're essentially just setting up yourself with an iron condor. I like that play. That condor that we were talking about on Tesla not too long ago was really nice as well too. That's going to expire worthless. So fantastic stuff. Adara, talk to us.
Just keep an eye here on Taiwan semiconductor. We have a comment coming here reported by Xinhua, which is, I guess, Chinese news source, saying that the Chinese Defense Ministry is warning the U.S. against, quote, perilous attempts to arm the Taiwan region. So more tension here with the U.S. and China, specifically with regards to Taiwan. TSM actually has already kind of been pushing a little bit higher here off of its lows, but either way, just be aware that this is happening. Back to you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to get tight. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think you're okay, man. The thing is, though, is that the volatility is kicking in. And with this market, anything can happen. Obviously, in any market, anything can happen. But I do believe that we're slightly frothy and we see some chop for the next little bit, maybe running into that Christmas rally. But there goes Bitcoin starting to grind a little bit higher there. So not too bad of a look on that one. And way to go, Gaurav, man. Way to take those hammers. I think from now on, just don't even tell me which ones you're taking so I don't hop in them and then they don't work. When you take them on your own, they work out absolutely beautiful on the Qs. Bang, all the way 598 up to 600 right there. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. I like that one. And a lot of these names are starting to bounce. NVDA was such a beautiful indecision print. I go short and then those prints come. So maybe I'll just do that more often. Go short, wait for those prints to come in, and then flip long. Bang, now who's playing who? Market can't trick me. No way. Yeah, exactly. But a nice bounce right south of the volume weighted average price at some key support levels, bouncing from 180, 180s all the way up to 182.25. So you catch a couple points as quick as you like. So yeah, not too bad there. Let's go over the top performing sectors on today's session to see what we got cooking up, because that is what we do. Oh, it's okay. They tricked us. Consumer staples leading the way up 1 1/5 there. We have the energy sector up 9/10. Financials up about 6/10. The bottom three, we got the materials down 1/4%. The technology sector down 4/10, and then the utilities down 0.5% as well, too, guys. Now let's take a look at some of the obviously the best averages here, major averages on the week, to see if we have any of them in the green, and we do not. Everything is negative. The Qs are leading the way. It's either they're at the top of the class on the downside, on the top side, or they're at the bottom of the class to the downside. That's just the nature of the beast. And then we have SPY up 1.6%.
Ranny open.
IWM, talk to us.
Go ahead, Joey. I'm just telling everybody it's open.
Ranny's open. All right, cool. IWM, we're up 1 1/3. We're down 1 1/3, and then the Dow holding on pretty good, only down 0.7% there, guys. So not horrible look. There's another cool tool here. Let's pull this up here, and you can just run your. Whoa! Now that's how they're doing us now these days. Okay, I see how it is. They're trying to charge you now. They're trying to charge you now, my guy. What's up with that? It was free for a long time, but now they just switched it up on us.
That's what they do.
Trying to monetize.
Remember those graphics I was using on the morning rundown?
Yeah,
from 9 to 9:30.
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
I stopped using them because we were going to pay. We were going to, because it was beta, and then we looked at how much it cost. It could be thousands of dollars per month because it's by credits, and using a couple of credits to make one image, it's like 15, 20 credits.
Wow.
And if we buy like 100, it's like $50 a month. So I could go through a few thousand credits if I was to use it the same way. Yeah. It was insane. It would make no sense. There's no way anybody's paying for that thing.
Hey man, the consumption is real.
They want that money
in the Western world.
Joey, we halted down on Ranny though.
At least you got out though. Good luck
I'm out.
there.
But we're gonna wait for Assassino, if I can show the chart over here, because RANI halted down. But guess what? Lo and behold, the tap is at above the high of the day, right? So it showed 245, 246. It's now showing 247. So even though RANI is halted down, it's still looking really good relative to the indicators and where price action support and resistance is. I think we've we've passed $2 by enough of an amount now to say, yep, we can use $2 as a level of support. Remember from our lessons on TA, if you guys were back with us in the day about a year ago when we were doing these TA lessons, the more times a resistance or support level gets tested and holds up, the more valid, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, that level is. So we've only really here danced with $2 one time. Right? We know $2 psychological resistance, but there hasn't been too much in the way of interaction between RANI and $2. So it's not like I can say confidently that $2 is going to hold. The only thing that $2 has for it here is the psychological level of support. So let's see if we've moved by it enough in order to be able to use it. Anyway, the top now showing 224, halt level 214. So we're still above the halt price. Now, the halt time, 11:55:44, so the earliest this will be open is 12 o'clock and 44 seconds. The last few halts have all been 5-minute halts. I didn't really see the earlier halts, so I don't know if there were 10-minute halts or not. But here's a trick I'll show you guys. If you guys are on IB, then this is a trick to find out how long the halts were. You flip to the 1, and then you can count these dashes here. Each dash is obviously a minute. So if you have 10 dashes, that's a 10-minute halt. If you have 5, it's a 5-minute halt, right? So it looks like they all have been actually 5-minute halts with 2 halts up, 1, 2, up, 1 down. So 4 halts up, 2 down so far. That's all I'm seeing right now on RNI. Let's flip back to the 5. So a little trick there. If you're on IB, you can kind of gauge how long the halts have been just by flipping to a smaller time frame and counting those dashes.
All right, cool, good stuff there. Yeah, Bitcoin continuing to climb, guys. Glad we got out of that one there. Yeah, slightly frustrated, so I was like, you know what? Let's be calm and cool and not get too the day, man. You don't win, and that's the difference between the best, is that they don't allow the market to get to them because it is just, right? So yeah, that's something most definitely as of late in the month of October I've been trying to work on, because there's been some hefty days where I'm just like, oh, bloody yeah, it's not October.
I know.
It's not October.
I know.
Did you hit that?
Of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm trying to manifest it, Joey.
You're trying to.
Great call out,
there's
Lovin. Great call out.
There's still half of it left, so it's a game of change most of the time. Rain halted. Slow day for me, says Mike P. Yeah, don't rush it either, brother. Friday is going to be a fresh one. There goes Bitcoin, man. I think we're going to head up into that 61 level. Let's pull up the options chain to see if we got any specific levels that we want to keep an eye out on. So 61, 35,700 contracts at 14. And 14,800 volume. Now here it is, guys, 65. Lots of open interest in there. You might see this. I don't think by the end of the week. So let's roll over there. 65, boom, 14,000. That's going to be the largest concentration. And as for our gamma as well too, I think you're going to have that a gamma accumulation right there. Now to the downside for the puts, we don't look at these too often, but 43, I don't think that's going to be where. That'll be absolutely disastrous for the long term if it goes down to $43. I don't even want to know what that'll put Bitcoin at in itself, but anything south of 100K on Bitcoin, I really, really love. But today's price action doesn't look like we're going to get there, because it is starting to really squeeze. Bang, there it goes, man. What a beautiful, beautiful move.
RNI open.
Go ahead, man.
All right, Joey, it opened down. Still trying to hold the halt level of 214. We're dropping, though, trying to hold 2. Back up to 14 we go. Now the bid. Still a red candle on the 5. Looking for continuation above the prior halt level. Just to recall, we were halted at 221, or yeah, it looks like 221 or 220, something like that. Watching as we drop back down into 2. Now you do have dual level of support at $2. You have the 10 EMA on the 5 and the psychological support at said $2 level. Current bar low, 207. Current bar low on the 5, 207 as we drop back down to test it. Buyer at 8 and 9. Looks like they're losing the bid, Joey, here as we test $2. 5s now showing up on the level 2, looking for a drop or continuation. Candle still red, guys. Pack in the patience here on RNI. Don't have to be first in order to get a good move. You've seen the parabolic nature of this bad boy, so you don't have to try to guess levels. Let's see if this one can flip long. By that, I mean the current candle green, and then we'll possibly weasel back in. I'm also seeing REKR trying to take out $3 on my side chart. That's my only loser on the day. And now it's above 3, having held VWAP like a glove. I'm talking about REKR, and there it goes again to the high side. So I should have been more alive. I actually was alive to the VWAP hold here. I just chose not to get in. I didn't trust this one. So we'll see if I can execute appropriately on this one. Not at the moment, though, as I'm still watching RNI. Very much an area of indecision here, a very, very equilibrium-filled area between buyers and sellers. But here we go. The current candle turning green, 220 resistance, seller at 20. All right, no problem. Seller at 20, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover this one as soon as we get back. Current candle high, 225. We're going to send it to Adair at the big desk for happening now. Then your boy Neil is going to have his lesson of the day.
Look at this market, definitely finding some strong support around that 596.40s area for the QQQ. As you can see, we bounced off that in the pre-market right off the open, and then again around 11:30. And we're also breaking this 2 or 3 day streak where we've seen aggressive selling all the way into and past 12 o'clock p.m. So let's see if that can stay. We'll take a look here as well at TSLA. This was kind of surprisingly one of the strongest names off the open. We know yesterday they had their new FSD update and getting a admittedly not super optimistic price target increase here from Barclays. They're still equal weight on Tesla, but they did raise their price target from 275 to 350, which again, well below where Tesla's currently trading, but certainly, I guess, an improvement from their previous price target. I want to talk about Hims and Hers Health as well. So this one was down today. I did mention yesterday U.S. President Donald Trump said that he's trying to get the pricing down here for these weight loss drugs. But also, I found out something else pretty interesting. CEO of Hims and Hers Health, Andrew Dudum, he sold roughly $11 million worth of stock as disclosed on Thursday afternoon. But here's the other thing. He actually retweeted earlier this week a post saying that Hims should be a short squeeze. So interesting, and some people are viewing a slightly sketchy activity happening there from the CEO of HIMS. In just 1 hour, we will have U.S. President Donald Trump greeting and then meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. So stay tuned for that. I'll be covering that meeting for you guys right from this desk. Lots of excitement here, lots happening now and lots to happen later in the day. One thing that's happening imminently, and actually right this second, is Neil and his lesson of the day. So without further ado, Neil, give them that lesson.
Thank you very much, Adara. I'll tell you this right now. If I ever say that I think a stock is a short squeeze, and in my personal account, I'm dumping it, y'all could just, I don't know, whatever, throw tomatoes at me. That is utter nonsense. Throw them in jail. That's ridiculous. If that's true, that I can't even, that pisses me off. That's absolutely insane. If that is true, I don't understand how it could, if you can get away with that, then what is the point? What's the point of having rules? Financial markets are literally the most regulated thing in the entire world. You cannot allow that to happen. It's utter nonsense. But the lesson of the day is not supposed to be that. I just heard it and it kind of made me mad. And I just have a tendency to say what I think. So there was the trade today on ASTS and something that Luis said a couple of days ago. It's going to be the theme of the lesson of the day. So I think it was 2 days, it was yesterday. Yeah, today's Friday. So we had Luis Barbado on, and he was talking about Rigetti and the back end of the trade. And I'll tell you right now, 100% of the reason that I was in ASTS today short was because of this discussion. So if you look at, just to get an idea of what we're talking about here, this is Rigetti, absolutely parabolic, right? So step one, did it go parabolic? Okay, so parabolic stock. Step two, did it make a distinct top? So if we're talking about this yesterday in the morning, the day before that on Wednesday, you had a double top. What happened to the double top? A rejection. So rejects the double top, and then here's your lower high that it's working with. You can call it whatever you want, head and shoulders. It doesn't really matter. It's more important the rejection of a high, the lower high, and then the next day, you're just looking for a continuation setup. A continuation setup to me is it doesn't break this, favor short. There's a million ways you can play it. You could play it short back into this level, like right where it was at the close. You could play just the breakdown here, because that's a big level. You could play this consolidation, which pops back into the pre-market low, and that's the support to resistance play. You're just favoring the short all the way, and you're looking for a setup. The key is the bias that you have. And the thing about the market, we had this discussion with Obi as well. When you have trade setups, they tend to apply themselves from stock to stock in the same style. So you can apply things that you might do on Tesla to maybe an Nvidia and big cap tech names, but also on parabolic runners. So when you look at Rigetti, and then I go over to ASTS, which is not a quantum stock at all, but it has a similar parabolic move. What was I looking for today? Now, it wasn't exactly like Rigetti, but there's a double top. What made this, I think, even better is the day before, not only did it have the double top, it completely rejected a breakout of that high at 100. So yes, it formed a double top, then it trapped people and smoked them that tried to go 100 breakout long. So that's an even better reversal on the same principle. So what do? You favor short today. And there's multiple setups. There's the let it play back into the pre-market high short. Ooh, why am I still offering? Let it play back into the pre-market high. If it had broken out here, I would have waited till it got into the prior close, maybe faded it there, or I could have faded it on even a strong move back up to 93. But the key is the bias. And the other key here, to wrap things up, is you can't just look at, oh, this is how I trade AMD, so I'll trade AMD this way. This is how I trade Rigetti, so it'll apply to Rigetti, maybe it'll apply to QBTS and IonQ. Sometimes you will find stocks that are linked together by nothing fundamental except for the manner in which they move. And when you have things that move in similar ways, like it could be quantum, these space stocks, MP Materials, when they go parabolic, very similar story. Some of the nuclear stocks, like an Oklo, will have these types of patterns. There's nothing about them that's related fundamentally, but they all move in a similar fashion, so you can apply the same types of strategies to them. And so when you see one do one in the group the day before, and then you see it setting up the next day on something else, it's in a different sector, but it's the same type of stock, then you go for it. And that's what trading's about. It's all about pattern recognition here. So don't write something off just because it might be a different sector than where you observed the pattern before. The key thing is, does the stock behave in the same manner as where you observed that good trade set up the day before? And if the answer is yes, then take a shot at it. It's a simple lesson of the day. I don't know if I'm going to reshort this ASTS because the market's about to blow out the top, which is never a bad thing on a Friday. And as always, good luck in the rest of your trading, and go Toronto Blue Jays tonight.
Absolutely echo that sentiment. Shout out to the Jays, man. Max Scherzer was all sorts of dealing yesterday. Yeah, shout out to the 41-year-old who absolutely put on a clinic. Look, I know Neil had his comments about, with respect to control and stuff. I think he did a pretty good job, all things included. And I definitely like the confidence he showed on the mount yesterday when when Schneider came out and tried. Well, he wasn't going to take him out, right? Neil, weasel in for a second if you can, because it's interesting. Like, I didn't know this about Schneider. If he walks up to the mound, then you're coming out of the game. Yep. If he jogs up, then it's like sort of a pitching coach talk. And then so what I noticed, Neil, is he walked to the foul line, and he got to the foul line, and then he started running because Scherzer was like, no way, what the hell? So shout out to him, man.
Well, the thing about it is Max Scherzer is actually pretty famous for having done this in the past, where
pretty intense.
Like, he is one of the most intense competitors you'll see, and so managers know if he doesn't want to come out the game, like,
they know, they're going to hear about it.
He's going to let you know. But what I love about it is, and people talk about, like some people have that dog in them.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like Max Scherzer, the guy's always been that way, but he hadn't been that way this year. And then in the biggest moment when you needed him, in the first inning, it was just a different dude than you saw all season. Like, he was throwing harder, he's pacing around like he was going to snap on somebody. Man. Like, he had a look on his face after every pitch and around the mound. Like, if you went up and talked to him and said, good job, Matt, he'd be like, stare you down and be like, what are you talking about?
Don't talk to me while I'm pitching.
Like, that's what he looked like the whole game.
Brendo told me that George Springer stays away from him because he's such an intense guy. He doesn't want no part of that, all that jazz. Yeah, so shout out.
All I know is we got this, man. I'm feeling confident.
We got this, man. We're good.
Oh, you know what?
Do it. Go ahead.
There was a question, I was literally about to type an answer to DJ2AM, who asked, how do you not be afraid of stocks? So if no one's afraid of stocks. Generally speaking, what'll happen is you're just everyone's afraid of losing money, which is a good thing. Like, fear is a very, very good thing for human beings to have, because it's one of it keeps us out of dangerous situations, helps us manage risk, all these things that we need to be able to do in life, right? So it's about what you do with that fear. And I find, and this is just my approach, and I'll give the example of, I'm just going to use the example of the stock that I was talking about, because it's the stock that I'm looking at, and I can just give you the example here. So let's say here I'm short 86 change, and my out is like 87.5 or so. So it's less than $1.50, but let's just call it $1.50. If you have $1.50 worth of risk, however many shares you got, so you got $100 to just make 100 shares to just make the math really simple. So that $150 worth of risk, because that's where my stop is and that's how many shares I took, that's what I consider myself to be paying for the trade, right? So in order to get into this trade, I'm paying $150, let's say. So therefore, that's out of my pocket now. So before I hit enter to put that trade in, you're spending that. I consider it spending that money. So therefore, whatever happens after that, it's just, what am I buying with it? So sometimes you buy a winner, sometimes you buy a loser. But when I think of it that way, then as it's going against me and all that stuff, I've already determined how much I have to spend in the trade before I got in. So when it comes to execute, I'm either like, am I okay spending that money or not? And so once you do get in, you should have that confidence that, hey, at this point, that's my cost. I've set my bar. I'm in it. This is where my out is going to be. And I have always done that. And I've sat in trades where I've had people come to me like, aren't you like, no, because this is what I have, and this is where my out is, and I just now sit here. And that's because I've already considered, like, I could be out whatever. But if it's part of the plan, then I made that decision before I got in. So it's no different from buying a ticket to the game. If I buy a ticket to a game that cost me a couple $100 to go watch the Jays, I don't know if they're going to be good or not. I don't know if they're going to have a good game, but I already spent the $200 and I'm there. So I might as well just sit there and enjoy the game, and what happens, happens. I consider every trade exactly the same way. To the point that if I don't know how much I'm spending on the trade, and where it means to be wrong is how you can actually determine and control your losses. Now that I'm looking at this is getting to VWAP as the market's getting to the high. See, like, this is the kind of thing. Like, so what I'm going to try to set up is, where would I get out? I don't know yet. And as the futures get to the high, if they roll over, I want to see if I can put a trade on where I'd look to short to the low of the day again on ASTS. So that's what I'm going to do now. The tacos were great, by the way, just so you guys know. They were delicious. These guys are going to love them when they have them. But enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that answers your question. I can only tell you what works for me. That's the best I can do.
Thank you, Neil, for the second Neil's lesson of the day. I appreciate that. Neil coming in hot. All right, guys. Here's the deal. We got a lot to talk about right now. I'm just trying to make a mental decision as to whether I want to get more into DUSD, because it dropped below 10. I lost the 10 EMA, held the 20. Now it's right back at 10, and I really don't have that many shares left. So if this is going to be a $10 area support, well, then I want the smoke. We're going to see here. What I'm thinking about is looking for the possible breakout above prior bar high, which is 10.03. So I can put that at a 10.04 breakout and then add into there. That I can do. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And then we'll give it to 05s as well. That's a sell, excuse me. So we're going to go 10.04, Joey. And then we're going to go buy into 10.05. And then we'll do just that. So shout out to Odyssey Traders as well. So he's like, oh, bro, how do you find these stocks every day, the high flyers, this, that, and the other? So we're going to talk about it. It's a scanner. It's a stock scanner. It's super simple. Every different platform has different stock scanners, but mine has pre-programmed ones. And the ones that I use are gap scanners, top percentage gainers. That's the one that I use there. It's super simple. They're pre-programmed. It's just looking for the stocks that are up the most on the day. And the way mine populates is it's up the most from 4 a.m. So I don't tell it from after the bell. I'm telling it just on the day. And it starts populating right at the pre-market trading hours at 4 a.m. I do have some nuances here that I want to share. So in addition to using the top percentage gap scanners, I have two very simple filters that I put in. Number one, I want to know about the stocks that are trading above 85 pennies. 85 seems like a random area. It was actually suggested to me by Neil. I had a rule that I, try to avoid trading the stocks that are trading below $1 a share. But I also want to know about the ones that are making a move close to $1 a share. So I use 85 pennies as sort of that filter. In addition, I have a volume filter. Typically, it is 1 million shares that I'm looking for traded on the day. But again, I want to know about the ones that are making moves. So I drop that down to 250 just so I can see the ones that are in the process of making the move. All right, so those are my two filters. Now, in addition to having the filters there, I also have several columns. You guys can choose whatever columns you want, but here's what I use. Obviously, the price, that goes without saying. Change percentage, that means what it's up from 4 a.m. onwards. Then I have another change percentage one, but this one is change percentage from open, and that is how up or down the stock is from 9:30 onwards. And then the gap scanner, the gap percentage, that means how up it is from the previous day's closing price, not from the morning trade, from yesterday's closing price. Then I have a whole bunch of volume ones. I have the volume, like the total amount of volume traded on the day, the average volume, so I can see what the relative volume is. Are we above or below our vol? And then the 5-minute volume, just so I know whether this one was doing shares or trading heavily earlier or recently. Is it doing volume now, or did it do volume, some distant part of the day? And then I have my shortable on there to let me know whether or not the stock is easy to short or not. Here we go. We're adding now into Dusty. Shout out to my boy Dusty over here. Hopefully we don't get dusted on this trade, Joey. But yeah, we're gonna look to take profits into that 10-10 level, adding into this one, Joseph Options. Let's see what this one gives.
We don't want anybody to be a don't be a duster. All right, there it goes. All right, and now for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse and inverse leveraged ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3x and 3x bull and bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60 semiconductors and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more.
I want to learn more.
I want to learn more. Always got to be learning. What's no, I'm not even going to try to attempt that saying. But anyways, yeah, once you stop learning, you're essentially dead. As someone once said, I forget who it was. It's essentially irrelevant at the end of the day. Let's rock it and roll. Let's pull up the TQs here. We have failed to put in a new high, but do we want to go against this market? I got to keep my eyes on some of these big boys. What's Apple doing today? Apple. Oh, okay, starting to climb higher. Not too bad of a look there. Microsoft, what have you been up to, my friend? MSFT. Microsoft continuing to climb. A nice inverted print there on Microsoft. No volume supporting that move, so maybe we'll sit off and hold off on that one there. And now let's take a look at goggles. Take a look at what Google's been up to, Alphabet and company. And there it is, right? Like, so I'm looking at the TQs and the Qs right now for potential short, but when I go across the Mag 7, the majority of them are telling me, hey, we're not ready to fade, with the exception of Microsoft. So I'm going to be cautious on this one. I mentioned I was trying to stay away from it from a little while, but it's so lucrative and wants to just drag you in. So at the end of the day, let's be patient on that one. A nice gap up. Wow, I'm surprised Microsoft is having these liquidity issues. Is that a gap up? There's no way. All right, that's interesting stuff. Where price is currently trading at 513.04. Let's head to the 1 minute time frame. No, that's not the case. Okay, it is. Wow, very illiquid today is MSFT. Surprisingly, really? So yeah, there's not too much liquidity on that one there.
8.75 million. Joe.
I know. You'd think you'd see a little bit more cleaner PA on that one. But now there's the TQs, guys. With 53s is your top. For now, things can most definitely change as the market wants to continue to grind. If it wants to continue to grind higher. So we'll let it set its base, try to catch the top end of the range. If it decides that it wants to consolidate for some time, then we'll avoid it. Now, also, let's focus on the tape and what the book is telling us. Where is the imbalance? Is there a ladder on a specific side? What am I referring to in a ladder? Okay, well, you want to see the continuous size through different area, I was going to say strike prices of increments of these numbers, and sure enough, you can establish a ladder, but then you also want to focus on what the time and sales is telling you. Are we continuously aggressively selling? Is there a lot of offers, is there a lot of price action hitting the bid and below the bid? Or is there a lot of offers on the ask and above it? So keep that in mind. Choppy right now, but those clean flushes can help us depict a lot, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, Shree.
All right, Joey. Oh, that's why, Joe. Okay. I just added twice into this, which I didn't mean to. All right, give me a second here. Where is it? DGXX. Where is it, dude? Sorry, 1 second, guys.
Yeah, you want me to take it?
I'm just like, it didn't update on one of, there it is. That's why it's not showing up. It's so stupid. That's why it wasn't updating. It was just added twice into the same position because I thought it wasn't filling. I'm long DGXX at 12s. This is holding the 10 EMA quite well. It has a breakout level. I perceive it to be about 405. So we'll see what we get on that. Show me 412s right now. Let me go ahead and place my stops. It's going to be at the double bottom that we have here on the candle at 1215 and 1220. Both the area lows on that are 409 and 409. So we go ahead. We're going to give it a little bit of room, and we'll do just like that. So that's what we're doing there. See what we get. Separately, I want to shout out Ozen. It's his birthday. Ram. She there?
No.
She's not there?
No.
All right, because she's ghosting Ozan, and he's starting to get real hurt in the chat.
She's
here,
working,
so.
man.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I know,
Ozan. She got to work.
You know,
She's got to make sure she's working,
I got to
man.
complain for the boy because it's his birthday. You know what I mean? Are we going to Adara?
I never got anything.
Okay, we're going. Go ahead.
I never got anything there, Assassino. I'm tapped in, too, so. All right, thanks, brother.
Comments here from Fed's Muslim on Watch. He was the only Fed speaker I was seeing on the docket for today. And he's being a little bit cautious here, saying that it's important for the Fed to be cautious at this moment. And then he also said that we're in a particularly uncertain moment. Lots happening here. Again, like the main theme of the day here for Muslim is going to be caution. He also said the Fed should not be on a preset course and that they need to follow a balanced approach. So Fed's Muslim being a little bit worried here going forward. He said the Fed is not going to be making decisions based on one singular data point amid the broader shutdown. We know Fed's been a little bit divided based on how much the shutdown is going to impact what they do here. But either way, Fed's Muslim talking, just be aware. Back to you.
For that, Adara, bang.
Bang.
Okay.
What do you got, Joey?
Skip, bang. There we go. We're tapped in, man. For the fresh cut tomorrow morning, bang. That's just like that. Things are done. There goes Google putting in a new high of the day. There goes. So I want to pick something else. The SPY heading towards the high. Microsoft not cooling down. What a rally.
Okay.
This is no free fall Friday. This is a rally Friday. This is get as much money as you possibly can on today's session. So good luck there, guys. What's Bitcoin up to? I took it off my chart. It's holding up pretty good here on today's session, guys. So we might have to start getting involved. And then I was talking to Sharif. We're at some key support levels. We're starting to see some indecision prints. And thank you for the post market, because on our close today, I might be getting in a little bit of shareage on IBIT for a potential swing trade. Long term, I'm thinking I'm going to buy some. I put an order out. It probably got filled. So we're rocking and rolling on that one. So we're cooking up a little bit more in the crypto space. I might just sell all my Ethereum and just go heavy on Bitcoin. Okay. But other than that, let's see, because I like it. Man, come 2028, the year before the halving cycle.
Yes, sir. It's over.
Oh, brother, I'm already manifesting and game planning what I'm going to do.
Did we get a big move? We got a decent move.
It's usually like a year.
Hold on, because we got the big move in around the election time last year, so almost a year ago.
Yeah.
But the halving cycle was April, right?
Yeah.
This past April?
Yes, it was.
So we typically you accumulate into
the move.
Yeah, so what is it, like a 6 months window?
I'm going a year.
You're going a year?
Yeah.
I love it, Joey.
Even the next couple of years, man, it's just like everything. Whatever I make in the long term is to take the investment out, leave the runner, and just funnel it into the coin to see if we can get rocking and rolling, man. I told you we're in this for it's either we're thriving or we're gonna be at shopping somewhere else that ain't gonna be very good. I'll tell you that right now for free.
Get it, Joey.
Do AMBQ. What are you up to? Let's go through some of the volume names on. Oh, this is my small cap scan. We don't want that there, Sharif. That's yours. That's your world over there, my brother. So there it is. NVDA. Let's take a look on that one. Let's see. Bitcoin 97,000 is next support, says Thomas Driscoll. Okay, nice. So yeah, BAC, shout out the Driscolls. I know a couple of them. Amazon, same thing, guys. I talked about this. We're waiting for anything south of 210. 211 we got today. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of the price action come tomorrow morning. Oh my days, I wanted to fade Bitcoin. I had it up on my secondary chart. I know it's crazy. But it's getting that move, but who knows what can happen, guys. If the volume really wants to stay in, I think that there might be a good opportunity for the continuation. I'm looking at it either way right now, to be honest with you, so no bias whatsoever. Potential fades in the overall market as well. Let's see what the big boys are up to. If Microsoft wants to sell, Google wants to sell, then we're rocking and a rolling.
Rocking and a rolling, Bopperan. All right, DGXX, guys. We're in at 12s. We went the beak all the way up into 20. I took out some more at 17s. High of the day is 20, so I did anticipate, obviously, resistance there. We've rejected off that 420 level. Shout out to 420 Bud Monster. Once, twice. Obi, he is the one thrice. 4 times, 5 times. 5 rejections on the 5-minute chart at $4.20 on DGXX. So I'm trying to accumulate into this area. Now, in the same way that you have that resistance level at 420, take a gander at the support level that you got at 410. Look how many areas of rejection we got at 410 before clearing it, finding resistance at 20. Lo and behold, we dropped back down into 10, hold 10, and that's why I got in there when I noticed that. So that's my move right now on DGXX. I'm also in Dusty. Looking for more over here. Wet the beak there at 6s. Look, Dusty is much slower and more of a stair step up than any 10 cents. With a high of the day at 10.12. So you can see that this one's having a lot of trouble clearing 10.10 for whatever reason. But I want to bring your attention to LBRT. We were doing it live with this one earlier. This one's one of my better trades on the day. This one in RNI. Look at the hold here at 4.25 now. Look, I wouldn't have gauged 4.25 as any level of support or resistance, so I don't feel bad for not executing here. But what you can do, if you lack a level that shows you a clear area of support or resistance, you can base it upon prior bar, right? So you get a double bottom on the 12.10 and the 12.15 candle, and then the subsequent 5-minute candle makes a new high and the closing basis closes green. So you can base it on that. To me, that's less likely or less, what's the word I'm looking for here? It has less of a percentage winner, less likely
lower probability.
Thank you, bro. I was completely blanking out there. It's a lower probability trade. That's why Joey Options is here to help me out, bro, because sometimes I get brain farts like that.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, yeah, lower probability trade for me at 14.25. We're going to keep an eye on this one. This one's going to haunt me at night. I'm down pennies on REKR, okay? Just want to make that very clear. But what's going to haunt me, Assassino, is this level right here. A 1, 2, 3, 4 bar hold. Are we good?
No, I was doing something in the mic. I was saying, Joey, people can hear me. I'm like, Joey Options.
What
ASMR.
the hell's happening?
You know,
I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, is he talking to Assassino or something?
No.
What the hell? So REKR is going to haunt me, guys. A quadruple bottom at VWAP, then clears the high of the day. I mean, oh, man. Anyway, it's all good. You can't win them all. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. If I need to, I'll get back into REKR. But Dust, we just took a print on there. Waiting for another on DGXX. And anything else that I want to mention? Yeah, RNI, guys. So we were yelling plenty about RNI. So let's talk about it right now. So you got to hold off around $1.75. Interesting level. But now you're getting a 2 rejection. So you're still getting the higher lows. Look at the bottom chart over here. Higher lows. But this 2 rejection puts us in peril for a lower high. And that is not what I want to see with a name like RNI. I'm not going to stand in front of this thing. It's got to be on the rampage to the high side for me to get involved. And I need to see a pattern of higher highs and higher lows, not lower highs on this one. So RNI is still going to maintain its position on the side chart, but, you know, I'm not going to be punching in unless I see a lot more than what I'm seeing right now. But go back to Dusty over here. Did we get another print on the Dusty one? 10.10 high right now. It's a 10.12 high a day. Where am I waiting over here? We're waiting at 14s. Now, we did add into the Dusty one. So let's go ahead and wet the beak at 11s since we have more shares there. And yeah, that's all I've got for now. Above in special over here was NUAI. By the way, DGXX is above in special, by the way. I didn't have eyes on that one, so I want to shout out to the OG Bovin. But NUAI is another one. And this one, look, it's not the best looking pattern, but it certainly has some selling here at 370. So if we can get above and hold above 370, and I'll submit to you guys this area of consolidation south of 370 is the best attempt I think we've had on the day of clearing and holding 370. Look at all the other attempts into 370. They're all wick basis and then retracements. Case in point, 8 a.m. pop, we drop right back down into 325. Again, at 9:35 at the open, we pop into 367, drop all the way down into the low of day at 321. Again, over here at 1025, we keep failing it. So this is the best accumulation I've seen on the day on NUAI into 370. We'll see what it has to offer. But for now, I'm just going to stay clear. I don't need to jump into this one quite yet. So yeah, that's my take there. So I did a little bit. I looked online on Marketplace.
And
they're selling, Joey, The 13 Pro Max, like you can see a bunch of them over here, 600, 650 for the 256 gigs. So I might have been in luck.
Yeah, I think
they were
so.
going to give me 450.
Well, they're always going to lowball you,
which I was
that,
okay
man.
with.
Yeah.
Which I was okay with, but quite frankly, it's just more of a hassle now. I have to have people show up to the condo.
You gotta have conversations with people and stuff like that. Yeah,
and like
the
good thing is, like, I always meet people in the lobby of my condo.
Yeah.
Which is I think a decent, safe place because there's always people there.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, you got bear cameras everywhere, so it's
CCTV.
Yeah. Because people will just jump you for anything these days, you know? Like shank you and
try it.
Yeah, you know, who needs that though, bro? I don't need that. Like, I like fighting, but
it's not even about the fighting.
It's just like, exactly. I just don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need that in our lives whatsoever. But what when I
was selling the car, I was meeting people at police stations.
Yeah, that's smart, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to say which division I work because it's like super close to where I live, but the division, the police division, didn't actually have a meetup place. Like, you know how all the police divisions...
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, in York Region Police, they all have meetup places in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
The division that I had, it was like fenced 360 degrees. So I just parked in front of the police station.
Dang.
I'm like, all right, you want to rob me?
Well, you're going to do it in the wrong spot. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I live right beside the police.
Yeah, well, it's perfect. It's perfect.
I live. Well, I mean,
who needs that kind of crap,
Yeah, I don't need that type of drama in my life.
Mini Zed, bro. Anybody with a weapon they don't care. You got to see the youth crime we have in the city.
Oh yeah.
Look, we have something called the Youth Criminal Justice Act. It gives different sentencing for people under 18. So if you're 14, you have certain sentencing guidelines. Above 16, 17, 18, they all have different sentencing. So what the gangs are doing, the organized crime, is they're hiring these kids, paying them money that they've never seen in their life and or giving them substances, and they're going out committing crazy crimes because they know they're going to get a slap on the wrist because of the Youth Criminal Justice Act. And so that's become our society. All the home invasions, all like the break and enters, the robberies in the malls, they're all youths. They're almost always under 18. And so it's become such a it's such a disaster. So trust me, brother, they don't really care about you or what muscles you have. They're just there to rob you, and they're paid to do so. I think we're going to Adara.
Damn, boys, we're going to Adara.
Yeah, I want to let you guys know here, Fed's Muslim still talking. He said another rate cut could be warranted if job risks rise and inflation remains contained, and that he's calling for caution in a meeting-by-meeting approach, citing, amongst other things, tariff pressures. So Fed's Muslim, I already mentioned he was kind of cautious here, but this is notable. He said another rate cut could be warranted. A lot of other Fed speakers have kind of taken more rate cuts this year, more or less for granted. So this is certainly significant. He did say that there's not going to be an imminent problem with the job market. We know the job market concerns were a large reason for that cut that we had in September. So he said it's not imminent, but he is acknowledging that job market risks have increased. So again, Fed's Muslim not in any hurry to cut rates here, guys. Back to you.
Sure. I remember years and years ago, I was just working at Bayview and anyways, Midtown area, right? Anyways, these two kids, they come running by. One had their shirt off, wrapped around their hand, and we're like, hey, they look out of place. They don't look like they belong here. Anyways, couple minutes later, you see the cruisers really start zooming down the street, and later, one of the cops stopped by us and was like, hey, did you guys see anything? My friend and I were like, no, we didn't think of what. They're like, did you see anything? We said, no, we just seen two kids pass by. We didn't really think to mention it. Sure enough, we hear on the radio, these guys jacked somebody, their vehicle, a Benz, crashed it down the street, and then
regular day in Toronto,
just booking it, man. I'm like, oh my days. All right, guys, let's see if we can get this working. This is iffy, man. There's a couple potential opportunities, but Apple's continuing to grind, so it's going to rain on that TQ's parade. Super frustrating. I don't know why I keep getting dragged into that one, but there it is, inverted hammer candle on MSFT, but starting to grind a little bit higher there and starting to bounce, so I'm double short some of these names. This might be a totally bad play, and with that being said, This might put me for the day. Again, death by 1,000 paper cuts over the past couple of sessions. Full disclosure, we're not going to hide that from you. So again, trading has not been that good. We've had a little bit of better trading, but we'll hold on to these as long as we potentially can. We're going to stick to those stops and look for that potential fade. I think that this market is a little bit overbought in the short term. Joins me with the TQs. I mean, I don't love it. I don't love it, Trader 6-0. I don't love it whatsoever. But if it breaks down, I think we can get a move back into the volume weighted average price. We waited for that overextension, but what I got going on, some of the big names, I don't think I'm in the right space right now. So again, got to go with the book, continuously play it, and see if we can get an additional move lower there. There goes NVDA starting to climb a little bit higher, so not too good. I have been challenging trading last few weeks. Down, yeah, I know, Hangry Wife, it has been. October at the beginning of the month was actually fuego, but now it's the opposite of fuego. It's been no-go.
Ice.
That one, yeah.
Bing.
Bing.
As you say in Mandarin.
Bing?
Ice.
Bing.
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 It'd be like,
ice water.
Or like that gorilla Muse, you know, that guy? Bing bong.
No,
you don't know
but I like that though.
Bing bong.
Nah.
Yeah, shout out to him. All right, so we're double short on this one. Come on, come in a little bit. We're looking for 50 cents in either direction. Let's see if we can get that. That's going to put us at approximately on Microsoft around the 60s. We'll call it 62, and then we'll take some off. And the exact same with the Qs. 78. We'll take a little bit off there, Sharif, at 102.78.
All right, Yannick, I see the one that you talked about there, but I have to make a move here on DGX because it's coming down into that area that I gave it to. So I don't know where my stop didn't trigger here, but this is my out 410. Let's see what it does here. Does it continue to sell off? We took some into that 420 area, but we were unable to shake 420, even though I had an order at 420. I'm going to give this a little bit more room. I like this area over here. Let me check where my stop is. Allow me a second over here. DGX, we've got to stop at 7s. Okay, we'll let this one trigger naturally. So I left it at 7s. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I had something to mention, but I totally forgot. All right, whatever. I totally forgot about what I was going to mention there.
United States.
But REKR is coming back again into that high day. 323, 322 right now. Oh, boy. What are we going to do here about REKR? Are we going to get in near highs, or are we going to wait for a pullback up almost 24%, give or take? Certainly has support at 14, had resistance initially at 14, comes back in and tests it. I'm going to stay clear right now of anything. I'm not going to get into any more positions nor take out any positions. But if DGXX wants to stop me out for the last remaining amount, how much do we have still, man? We still have some shares. I definitely thought this one was going to run. I don't want to DCA into an oblivion. If it loses 7s, I'll get stopped out. We'll give back a little bit on it. We'll get back in at the volume weighted average price if it's appropriate, which is currently around 395. We'll see what happens there. Dusty continuing to accumulate into 14. That is the high of the day. DUSD on the MX has multiple tops at 1014. Can't shake the seller into that level. 12s again. I've been watching this one reject 14s for a while. We've got shares on this one as well. So waiting for that 14 penny level to get taken out. And then we're going to wait at 18s for a possible 20 break. LBRT as well, heading back up to the upside. Where's my LBRT trade? All right, we took it off. So we're going to have to take off something else here. I want to leave RNI on in case it gets going. I'm going to take off LBRT on the NQ. Nope, on the New York. Yeah, on the New York. LBRT at the day's high again, man. 1494, showing me 90s right now. Let's see if this can take out 15. Very strong day today for LBRT. Definitely should have been adding into this one. I didn't have 1425 as a support level, and that's where it ended up finding support. So you win some, you lose some. And then we did get stopped out, sadly, of DGXX, so we'll give back a little bit there. We'll remain positive on it. Only one L on the day, and it has REKR as its ticker. Ebb and flow portfolio. I'm in REKR, no, at 317. No, I'm playing, brother. Enjoy. Holding the 12 EMA on the 5. I love it. I don't even use the 12 EMA. I've never used that. Slow ATR, just cruising. What's wrong with that, man? What's absolutely wrong with that? That's a good look. I don't mind that at all. Especially if you're getting that stair step up, right? Because that keeps you motivated into the trade. So Have at it, baby. Kill it on that. RNI, guys, is breaking trend now. Multiple higher highs and higher lows. Since we made that area low at 1210, with the price of which was 196, essentially, no, 175, excuse me. I'm talking about this candle over here. It's been a plethora of higher highs and higher lows. Now above 2, dancing with 210. It's a 239 high. Just watch out for the bag holders from this area here, 210 to 239. There's a lot of people that were in at that level. Multiple 10 million share volume candles at that level. I want to say there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 between the times of 10:55 and 11:40. 6 10 million share volume candles. So there could be a lot of people holding the bag from this level, and all those candles are green. So majority long positions were punching in there. So keep your eye on RNI. It's up 338%. Back above $2, but below the day, the high of the day. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that. Back quickly over here to not DGXX, but there we go. We get the print on my friend Dusty at 14s. Now we're waiting at 18. So we'll see what we get there, and we will not get upset. It's 245. Sorry, 1245. That's pretty.
It upside. All right, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Listen, they hit 99% on there.
Aren't
subscribed, not subscribed. Right?
I guess they're just
jail,
used to be losers.
Not jail. Right away, you don't want to go, so just hit the like and subscribe, guys, please. It's only the click of a button.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
I appreciate it so much. It essentially just helps the channel. And you know what? If you enjoy us, you guys are here every day. It ain't nothing to just do your friends and the individuals who love putting this work up for you.
Says Philippes.
What happened?
We don't know who they are, bro. He says ban them.
Ban them. Yeah, I know. If only we knew, man. If only the woodpecker.
No, we wouldn't do that, Joey. We're not.
You wouldn't ban. I would ban him right away. Bang. No, in all seriousness, we did get that move into 102.90s there on the TQs, getting a little bit of a bounce. We started to get a little bit of selling pressure on Microsoft as well, too. So let's go. Sports and Stonks telling me that Donald's speaking momentarily. Let's cook. Let's go, man. Come on. Tank it. No. In all seriousness, though, guys, we are looking for that move a little bit lower. There it goes, and we're really starting to bleed. We talked about 75 being that target. Let's see if we can run into that neck of the woods. That's exactly what we want to look. I didn't post anything. Not you, Donald. Not you, the other Donald. The Donald. Not you, silly. Oh, okay. Maybe he's just messing with me. But you know who's not messing around right now?
Who?
Your boy.
Okay.
Joey O. Let's go. Take a little bit off right there on the TQs. Caught that, Phil. We like that one. We're cooking up now, guys. Let's take a little bit off on Microsoft.
Take it off,
no, I'm not taking it off.
Like, tarp on, of course.
Tarp on. Tarp on. We keep the tarp on. And no, but I'm going to Deontay Wilder this, Diamond Hand this. Shout out to the bomb squad there. Let's see if we can get an additional move a little bit lower. Oh, Mike Peter Ryder. Guess what I'm listening to? Guess what I'm listening to in my ear right now?
What are you listening to, Joey?
We belong. Led Zeppelin, baby. Let's go. Let's see if we can get this.
Are you actually?
I swear to God. Yeah. So here it is, 513.10s. We get that move into 68s. We almost caught that 50 cents. A little bit lower, an additional push to the downside. We're going to take a little bit off there, guys.
All right, guys. We're doing it live on Dusty. I want to show the 5-minute chart just to show kind of the pattern over here. We get in initially on that 980 break as we were bull flagging. Scalp. We consolidate in 10. Prove to me that 10 is a support level we add twice, might I add, and now we're doing it live. It's a 1021 high here on my friend Dusty. We're waiting now at 1025. 1021 is the high. We're waiting at 1025 with more shares, looking obviously for a continuation. 10 1/3, 10 1/2. Packing the patience here on DUST. But look, this is an Amex stock, and I don't want to paint with, just paint with one brush like that and try to cast a negative shadow on all the stocks that trade on the Amex, but I suspect them. As a default rule, I'm suspicious of Amex stocks. I've been bamboozled by them before, so I typically, look for retracements and or the bottom to drop off. That's just kind of how I start my thinking there. Now, whether it ends up doing it or not, I'm on guard. And I also want to shout out, man, small cap millionaire. Right away in my good books. Money. Small cap millionaire, I love the name, brother. Gifting everybody 5 Trader TV Live memberships. Thank you very much. Natalia just joined as well. Shout out to you, Natalia. And here's what you can get with your new subscription. So I want to go ahead and just show everybody how it's done. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about the YouTube membership over here. And let's just go ahead and click that bad boy. Where are we going, Joey? There we go. And this is what I'm talking about over here, okay? You can click right below the video, join. Brendo pops up. You can click join right there, $5 a month. Oh. And what you get is the following. Now, this is just the first, might I add, in possibly a series of new products are going to be for our members only. And let me show you how to get there. So go to the YouTube Trader TV homepage, and then right under that post section right there, you click posts, weasel on down. You're going to see Sharif's morning note. You know, we kind of try to make it big so you can see that because there's other posts as well. Most notably, you're going to see that members only area in that green rectangle. That's how you'll know this is the post you're looking for. Get it, Fabian. And then just click view more, click that bad boy right there. And then it links you to the morning note. Just make sure to get that every day. If you're new to the morning note, let me show you kind of how it is. Each page has its own headline with respect to a story on the day. For that story, you're going to get 3 levels of support, 3 levels of resistance, and then the trader takeaway. This trader takeaway will focus both on an intraday and a swing trading perspective, in addition to giving you all the nuances of the story, and as well as contextual background so that you can understand the story a little bit better. As I mentioned, each story gets its own page today, 11 stories on there, and it's dropped like 8, 10, so well before the open, I should say. So you have the opportunity to kind of review it and check that out. So for the people who got the memberships there in the chat, you can get that every day. And I do thank you guys for sending the free memberships there. I'm just switching back into my account because it logged me out, Joey. So we got to do it live on this bad boy over here. I'm going to click in. There we go. Now we're live. We'll load up the chat again so we can see what everybody's up to on the day. Oh, my bad. Just got to load that bad boy up. Shorty. And then we're going to start the news hopefully quite soon, Joey.
Start it right now, brother. I'm getting out of this Microsoft because that thing just squeezed. I was going to hold on to it, but there's no point now. It broke through that signal that I was referring to, so we'll just get out of that one as the market wants to continue to climb a little bit higher. Going to get out of this TQs, and you know what, guys? That's it, man. I'm not shut down or anything, but not rocking and rolling, so I'm just going to call it a day here personally. I know there's plenty of time left, but I don't like the way that I've been trading as of late. So come the weekend, just going to regroup, see what we can get going. But other than that, guys, yeah, not shut down or anything. I'm done. I've taken too many, again, my accuracy is getting depleted. I've traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names. I have 4 of them red, 4 of them green. But other than that, I could tell that I'm not in sync with the current market. So with that being said, I'm going to be a pro and sit on my hands for the remainder of the session.
Okay, Joey. No worries, brother. No worries, sorry, brother. All right, here's the deal. I forgot to mention we're back into DGX. I got in on VWAP. So this is a VWAP retracement. We've already wet the beak there. How many shares do we have? Well, we can hold. So I'm looking for another move up on DGXX. Shout out to the OG Bovin for pointing this one out earlier to me. Yeah, we just got another, no, we didn't get the print there actually at 5. So I'm waiting for that print possibly at 5s. And I also want to mention RNI. I'm not involved in it right now, but it is reawakening. And it's about to take that 220 spot out, back up to 360% in Greensville. RNI is not done on the day, not by a long shot. Here we go. We're about 20 pennies off the day high after dropping into 180, losing the 10, losing the 20. But I still suspect these ones because of just the bamboozlement that RNI has been on. And the moves up are not as parabolic. A steady state now, to be honest. It's more like of an escalator rather than an elevator. Dusty, how we doing here on the dusted one? Let's see, we're back up into 1020. As I mentioned, I'm waiting at 1025, so trying to pack the patience there. Nothing else for me to do. I'm probably going to regret not getting into RNI, Joey, because this thing is all sorts of strong. Again, there it goes. There's a $0.25 seller at $0.25, but it feels like that $0.25 seller is just going to get rammed through right now as the bid is stepping in quite aggressively here on the time and sales, and there it goes into 27s. It's showing a halt parameter now at 26s, 27 on the AST, false halt. Let's see if we can reascend into that level, and whether or not 26s is going to be the halt level. Keep in mind that the halt level is based upon a timer, right? So if it's at that position for a specific amount of time relative to where it came from, there you go. So the timer starts ticking as the price develops. So let's see now, it's a 29 area high. Now we're about 10 pennies off the high. There's 30s. Oh, I knew this was it's going to be the bad one. There is a halt parameter again at 30 now. We need to stay at 30 at this level for 10 seconds in order to get that gray out on the level 2. 388%, 9 pennies off the day high. Here comes the halt. False halt again, Joey.
Man.
Oh, the algo's playing with us right now. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Topping tail into 233 and down we go into 223. The bamboozlement's back. Pardon me, on RNI. And I say that jokingly, of course, because it feels like we will break that high of the day. Good recovery off that 180 for RNI. Are we taking prints here on DGXX? The answer is absolutely yes. Now we're going to post at 12s and see what we get there, and we will not get upset. Shout out to Small Cap Millionaire. What's going on with GCEI? Holding a couple hundred. Let's have a look.
The TQs, what a joke.
All right. GCEI. Here we go. Let's have a look. What the hell? What? E? Brother, this thing's 5 pennies. No, what am I saying? Yeah, this thing's 5 pennies, man. $44 million market cap, 1 million shares traded on the day. Let's have a look. Put it in here so we can get a better look. GCEI. It's stuck at 75 pennies. Brother, I wouldn't trade this. It's illiquid. This is the 5-minute chart on it. What exchange does this thing trade on? Why isn't it showing me the exchange? All right, let me have a look. GCEI. Pink sheets. Ah, that's why. That's why we start trading at 9:30. Pink sheets. Look, brother, this is not for me. This is not for me. There seems to be a support level at 6 pennies. A lot of rejections there at 6, and then you got the breakout. I wouldn't trade this. This is just my own personal opinion. I don't like the liquidity. I don't like pink sheets generally. And 7 pennies is typically far below the level that I look for. You know, I'm talking about $1 here. Typically what I'm looking for, Joey. So I'm gonna have to say no to that one.
Right on. Before we go on to do something, I mean, this is it, man. This is kind of the narrative of the trading as of late. It's boom. We hop in the short. We're like, okay, we like it as a potential top right here. Boom, providing the liquidity right there, and then sure enough, it's starting to sell a little bit lower, and then there goes the TQs, the exact same thing. I'm like, what am I doing with Apple ripping higher and everything along those lines? But it's sure enough, it turns out. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still sticking to my guns. I ain't trading because I don't want to get into that type of mindset. Anyways, you had the levels, not the time. Exactly, that's what it is, man. Timing is extremely difficult. Can you look at GDX? But anyways, Holly, 1 second. I appreciate you being real with us on needing to step back from trading for the rest of the day and regroup to get reacquainted with the market. I'm doing the same today. Yeah, exactly. It is Friday, and you don't want to ruin your weekend. So shout out to you, and bang, 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 bang. Let's rock and roll. We ready for this, Assassino? Did you know that instead of risking your own money, you can now trade with someone else's capital? No more fear of losing. No more moving your stop loss too soon. And you actually get enough capital to make it worth your time. So you can aim for big profits, not just a couple of $100 a month. This is revolution called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. This is how it works. Join Trade the Pool, hit the profit goal, and keep 70% of the profits. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code. Now 10% off. Yeah, I mean, Target hit there eventually, but you had to sit through this. I wasn't. That's why it's important to stick to your stops, right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what if history. This is hindsight 2020. This can continue to go. That's the thing about trading. You have incomplete data. It's consistently incomplete, and you have to go with what the current data is telling me. So bang, we get out at the top, and then it comes right down into that 512.50. Not too bad of a look there. And then we had 102.60s on the TQs. Not quite VWAP, but some of the bigger names selling there. So yeah, there it is, guys. hand sitting. I'm ready to rock and roll on the news at any given moment,
Ready,
brother.
setting up right now, just loading that bad boy up. All right, let's get to work. Guys, here we go. So let's start with the global bank sell-off that we got yesterday after we found out that, yeah, there were some concerning loans here. Whether you want to believe this or not, it's interesting. I don't think it's going to be as wide as everybody's saying it is, but let's talk about what's going on. So banking stocks worldwide did fall sharply earlier today as well as yesterday after Zion's Bank Corporation as well as Western Alliance disclosed that they had bad loans, you know, reigniting worries about the risky U.S. lending practices. I don't think that is the case, but that is what's being written in this article here. Analysts say investors were reacting essentially to a cluster of U.S. bank issues prompting a global de-risking. Some analysts say there's no evidence of problems at the UK or other European banks, and they're saying that it's basically just isolated to regional American banks. Expert emphasized that the current situation differs from the 2023 SVB First Republic panic. Unlike in 23, today's concerns stem from isolated loan mismanagement, not liquidity or solvency crises. So we have been hearing a lot more about this, whether it's in private credit, when we heard about Jefferies and some of the issues that they were having there, or some of the regional banks here. Joey, I guess there's a stigma to this because of what happened in 08 and 09 and the fact that people still very much remember that, or what happened in 2023.
Yeah, with
And here's what I was saying to Brendo, though, at the big desk today. So say one of these banks goes belly up in the same way that SVB and First Republic did.
Yeah.
What happened then? You had your boys that
JPM acquired the book. JPM acquired the book.
And made money off it. You know what I mean?
Check out the earnings on JPM after they acquired SVB.
There it is, bro. And a lot of people hate that because they say, you know, the big got bigger and, you know, at the expense of everybody else. But let's cut the crap, Joey. Those guys have a lot of money.
Trades.
Yeah, no, straight up.
You know what I mean?
Those guys, the banks, I'm talking about the Morgans, the Goldmans, the JPs, they have a lot of money. They can deploy that money in situations like this. Even if they don't have money, they can get leveraged up the yin-yang. Who wouldn't want to leverage to them? So even if we get these crises, I feel like there's enough liquidity within the system to absorb it and to kind of move on. I don't know how you feel about that.
We've already seen it, right? Like we've seen it in the likes of SVB. I watched that thing. I've never seen that was the first stock I've ever seen delisted. At 9:30, 9:30 in the morning, that thing was trading.
Behind.
4 p.m. The ticker was non-existent.
It was over the weekend. It was over the weekend.
Bro, it was like, oh, that's it. I've never seen that before, and that was very interesting to watch. But with that being said, once I read up on JPM acquiring the book, the following earnings was an absolute blowout. Beat on the top and the bottom line. So, I think that's going to be the case. We don't have the same situation here in Canada. We have our 8 major banks, and that's it. We don't have the regional scene or anything along those lines. So we can't really fall into that type of trouble around these neck of the woods. Otherwise, the government will just bail them out because they're.
I personally don't want to see these monsters get bailed out. Personally, just because you're monsters, you should be banned. You should be managing your books a lot better.
With the bailout tells me is that like, hey. We were extremely irresponsible with your money. We lost it, and then we're just looking for the government.
That can't be rewarded, though.
No.
That behavior cannot be rewarded in the form of a bailout.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Anyway. That's why actually, Bubba Joe, I totally disagree with what you said. We'll touch on that a little bit later. He said, come on, Joe, a pro can't stop. That's a professional in my opinion.
Oh, man.
I got to keep your head straight. I'm clearly focused. Yeah, exactly. I think the majority of people will disagree with you on that, Bubba Joe, especially the big-time pros. I've seen the best walk away, and they say, yeah, whatever. Guess what? We got Monday morning. Market ain't going anywhere. But no, as for the bank street, we don't want to see those bailouts like we've seen in Air Canada. That makes me so sick. It's not even funny, just giving the taxpayers money away.
I agree completely. All right, Adara, what do you make of this whole bank sell-off overnight, bringing the markets down?
Yeah, there's another thing we have to talk about here, too, specifically with Jefferies. I know you guys mentioned Jefferies, but I don't know if you guys mentioned the stuff with First Brands Group. The First Brands is an auto parts maker, and Jefferies was involved in this company through investment banking and their asset management divisions. Now, I believe it was about a week ago or earlier this week too, we're starting to kind of see fallout because First Brands Group blew up a little bit. And again, Jefferies was very much involved. Now, yesterday, Jefferies comes out and says they defrauded us. So that's, I think, another aspect of this issue here. I think, honestly, time will tell how significant this is. Zion Bancorp, they report earnings next week, so I'm really curious to see if and how this impacts their earnings. But yeah, I think Jefferies might be the one to watch here. The day that they had yesterday, their worst since April. We know April, the tariff tantrum, as it's often called. So pretty significant there for JEF, and that's the one I'm going to be watching here, especially with regards to the fallout from First Brand Group. I want to hear about this fraud allegation.
All right, thank you for that. Just looking at my position over here, we're at 1025 on Dusty, looking for that 1025 break and take. I've been waiting there for a while. We still got shares on this one. Second entry on the Dusty one. Still can't get the print as too much. Selling, there we go. We get the print there at 25s. Let's go on to the next story. Crypto, oh no. Selling off as Bitcoin leads that risk-off spiral. Let's talk about this. Lots of interesting information here. So the crypto market, as we know, slid aggressively yesterday with Bitcoin plunging 5.6% at its first point in the day, dropping down to 104,850-ish with a total market cap. I hate to use the market cap for crypto because there's no cap there. Market size, total market size dropping 5.9%, down to 3.64 trillion. The lowest it's been for market size since July. The decline triggered mass liquidations exceeding, Joey, almost $1.1 billion, and it was led again by over-leveraged Bitcoin and Ethereum trades, which accounted for 55% of that $1.1 billion sell-off yesterday. Again, I talked about this last time when there was a crypto flash crash last week. You got the likes of Coinbase and others that are giving you up to 20 times leveraged products. Now, I do understand, I did a bit more research into this. You have to deposit a certain amount of money to be able to get that, but that to me is unsustainable. Again, I'm more laissez-faire libertarian. I don't like the government intervening when they don't need to be, but this seems to me like a very good area for the government to get involved and put some controls on the amount of leverage you can have, especially on an asset that's super speculative and volatile to begin with. I don't want to say super speculative, but speculative and volatile. It doesn't need more volatility. So we'll see what all happens there.
Yeah.
Anyway, going on here, the sell-off stemmed from a panic in traditional finance, as we talked about, with bad loan disclosures from Zion and Western Alliance. The risk appetite, of course, when that thing happens, weakened severely across all markets. Altcoins, for their part as well, extended losses from the flash crash last week, showing high sensitivity to Bitcoin. But despite the near-term pressure, Joey, analysts specifically are saying that the broader market structure remains bullish, suggesting that breakdowns could be shakeouts before trend resumption. Yep. Do you agree with that?
I agree with the break. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. I'm letting them shake out the people who are over leveraged, who are just trying to YOLO these things. I think that these 20x streak, regardless of what, how much money you deposit, I think that's irrelevant. A 20x leverage is insane. What happens if the underlying falls 5%? Bitcoin's down 18%.
That's exactly what happens.
Right? So it's
because of the leverage nature, right? Dude. Like,
and the Kraken CEO said that there should be a crackdown. No pun intended. There should be a crackdown on this just because it's not fair.
I don't agree.
It's the sharks out there just bullying out the average retail guys and the less informed who are just trying to amplify the returns in the crypto space because they've seen other people make a lot of money in crypto. So they just think it's going to go up all the time. That's not necessarily the case. We know the volatility within crypto, and it's being displayed here today. You're down 18% off of those previous all-time highs.
Can I take a shot here as to maybe why a lot of people are jumping into leverage products on Bitcoin and maybe
buck?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think that maybe people view that the amount of crypto millionaires that have been minted may be coming to an end or a lot less.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to make up for that with leverage.
With leverage.
Right?
Yeah, it's not the way.
Just like, dude, that's a casino.
Again, I think that's just, I think it's just a little about being misinformed because the growth of Bitcoin, that's going to be so hard to be sustained. Like you have those thousands and thousands % of return, but that's because Bitcoin was trading at a fraction of $1, $1,000, right? You're not going to get that now. You got to think for Bitcoin to get to $1 million, it's 10x 10x from where we're currently trading, not thousands.
All right.
Right?
All right, Adair, what do you make of this? Bitcoin dropping to 100,000, losing the 110 level.
Yeah, I think my opinion on this is I do want to discuss, as you guys kind of did here, the fascination with leverage, because it's not just in Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys saw earlier this week, I would say the aptly named fund, Volatility Shares, they're an ETF issuer. They filed for the first ever 5x leveraged ETF for the U.S. market. Now, the SEC responded saying they're unsure if they're going to approve it yet, but really, I think that's just another sign of, as we talked about, people wanting more and more leverage as we get these intense moves in the market, in crypto, everywhere. People want to be able to take advantage of it to the greatest extent, and I think that can obviously be a double-edged sword, as we're seeing here with Bitcoin. Now, I think, you know, to get back to the issue of leverage, which may be the crux of everything here, this is where I think things get really interesting. Does the SEC approve these 5x leveraged US ETFs? Because I think if so, that could be a bit of an interesting change for the market. So yeah, I guess my take is less Bitcoin dropping specifically. As I mentioned during our crypto segment, it does this and it usually kind of recovers. Often after the all-time highs, it'll kind of make an all-time high in the same week. It'll decline and then it'll come right back. So Bitcoin is probably just going to do what Bitcoin does. I think the bigger question here is, how does this increase in interest and leverage change the market? And I think we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people actually in the chat saying 20, Sharif. There's over 100 on some exchanges. Look at Fire, Star 66, some 50x and maybe more. And then you have Mike's Mind and Matter. 20x, people are 100 times long or short.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bro, where are these products? They can't be domestic, right? Like, these got to be like...
Oh, these are FTC products.
Right? There's got to be for offshore.
FTX, yeah.
FTX, yeah. Like, are these offshore products, guys?
Yeah.
Because, dang,
you got to be buying that in the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's kind of, that's frustrating. And part of the decentralized nature of Bitcoin is how can you stop other jurisdictions from over leveraging? You can control what domestic SEC, right, can control that now. In Canada, it's each province has its own regulator, so each province can regulate. But Joey, I mean, what's stopping? I don't mean to single any country out. Cayman Islands, Bahamas, whoever,
nothing.
Right, on their exchanges, they give you a leverage product, give you 100, give you 200. Who's stopping them other than the local regulator?
Look at your boy Sam Bankman.
And he did them Bahamas for that reason.
Exactly, right? So
but
with these offshore brokerages, you can run into some trouble. A lot of people talk about because you don't have the regulatory safety, right? Regulatory safety. That's what happened with Sam. Like the guy, he had something going for him, but at the end of the day, he just started taking traders' money and making ridiculous trades.
Can I say something though? Yeah. That a lot of people were opening offshore because Biden administration was coming after them, right?
Exactly.
And so they didn't want to deal with Biden and his crew.
That's fair, Sharif, but you also have to look at it as they're not willing to play by the current rule set,
That's
right?
Fair. That's
right.
Fair.
So is that not a little bit of an alarm?
It's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hindsight, obviously. But
I think we have to go to Adair.
Yeah.
No Adair? Okay, let's go on to the next story. Mike. Joe? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, okay. Guys, in Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship women and girls need to start businesses, create change, and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code now. Empower the next woman leader today. I mean, there goes Microsoft. I took my screen off. We're getting that move right back into VWAP. The signals were there, timing just slightly off, guys. So we can't get too frustrated. The mentality was right. The thesis was right, timing just slightly off, and we got hit by that last liquidity grab. There's IBIT starting to come back in here, and then there's Microsoft. Did I punch again? There was another opportunity for me to get in. No, because I'm listening to myself, and I don't want to get into that mindset where I'm just frustrated and then ruin my weekend even more. So
no, you don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind. The exact same thing with the TQs here, right? Like we're getting right back into the volume-weighted average price, prime time entry, get hit with that liquidity grab to the top side. So yeah, there it is. The move's past target. So yeah, rock and roll.
All right, let's go. No, Drufus, we are not promoting it, brother. As you can probably tell from my tone and the way that I'm approaching the story, I'm not a proponent of this at all. we can speak about it. Just doesn't mean we're promoting it, right? Let's talk about Micron and it's exiting the China data center business. We'll talk. It's not exiting China for everything, just the data center business, at least for now. So Micron plans to stop supplying memory chips at data centers in mainland China following a failure to recover from Beijing's 2023 ban on its products in, quote, critical infrastructure, as defined, of course, by the Chinese regulator. The company was the first U.S. chip maker actually targeted by the Chinese regulator, a move seen as retaliation against Washington, of course, the export curbs on advanced chips. Despite the exit, as I mentioned, Micron will continue selling to Chinese clients in both autos and smartphones, both businesses that it maintains its business there. And apparently, according to sources, Lenovo, which is obviously Chinese, remains a customer of Micron. So moving on here, the U.S. currently has hundreds of Chinese firms under their sanctions list, while China, for their part, has only issued limited retaliatory measures. So we'll see if that expands. But the ban, Joey, costs Micron, of course, a lot of money to the world's second largest server memory market. And who's that going to benefit if Micron pulls out from China's data center business? Well, you're going to have your boys at Samsung as well as SK Hynix, of course, both South Korean companies, benefit. But there are others, YMTC, CXMT. I don't know those companies, but apparently they're also involved in HBM. Just to give you an idea of what kind of exposure Micron has to China, they employ roughly 300 people, not that much, in China's data center division. However, Micron is still investing in the chip packaging facility in Xi'an, signaling it's not abandoning China entirely, Joey. But we should, put everything into perspective, Joseph. Down 2.25% today, but as I see it, year to date, green 135%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, MU's been an absolute beast. And Bubba Joe, trust me, brother, all 110 respect coming from my end. Anyways, I know you're a very respectful individual for what you said, so shout out to you. And that's an adult conversation. At the end of the day, we're not yelling at each other or anything. You say, hey, I think this and I think the other thing, and we both came to terms on that one. So yeah, shout out to you and thank you for that message. And I hope you have a good weekend, my friend, in all seriousness. But yeah, back to Micron. Once again, nice, Bubba Joe, and thank you for those messages, brother. So yeah, MU. Yeah, Sharif, I mean, you can't complain about this. I was trying to swing this not too long ago, and then I got stopped out somewhere on this potential trade. I'm like, I liked Micron. There's some indecision prints that I really liked. I think it was around July in the middle of summer or something along those lines. I can pull up my books and I can find. But yeah, what an absolute monster run. And I'm like, oh, you dirty dog. But as for what's going on, Micron to exit China's data center, that's a tough look, especially in the midst of this race, but you can't go wrong with these. MU isn't that intraday trader we talk about all the time. Sean had a long on it not too long ago, but this is an invest it, this is an own it, don't trade it type name in my opinion.
Get it, Katina, man. All right, Adara, Micron, China, headline, what do you make of this whole thing?
I mean, like, they're not exiting China entirely, right? It's just one aspect. I think it'll maybe be, I view this less as negative for Micron and more maybe as a positive or an opportunity for these other Chinese companies or South Korean companies that you mentioned. So I really don't have too much to say on this, truthfully, for MU. As you mentioned, the stock has done incredibly well. The earnings day one kind of rocky because they reported fairly recently, but after that, they pushed up a little higher. And again, this impacts roughly 300 people employed. So I feel like the scope of this is relatively small for MU, and the sell-off doesn't really seem that outsized compared to the weakness we had in other parts of the market this morning.
All right, thank you. Novo and Eli Lilly slide after Donald Trump administration signals drug price cuts for GLP-1s. Let's get right down to it. So as I mentioned, Novo and Lilly fell sharply early Friday after President Donald Trump suggested that blockbuster weight loss drugs prices could come down substantially. That is a quote. Come down substantially were his words. President Trump specifically named Ozempic, which is Novo's diabetes drug, used, of course, for weight loss, saying that the fat loss drug would be much lower in price soon. Just to give you an idea of what this costs, it's about $1,000 a month. If you get a subscription from like Hims and Hers, a little bit less. But if you're going into a regular pharmacy, you're dropping band. All right? That's how much it costs. So we obviously know Dr. Oz, who's the CMS chief. Mehmet Oz, of course, clarified that price talks have not yet started for Ozempic or other weight loss or diabetes drugs under the Inflation Reduction Act. You'll recall the IRA is the previous administration's legislation, of course, passed through Congress. And they're using it. The current administration is actually using the provisions of the IRA to kind of lower drug prices. I think this is an area where both the Democrats and the Republicans agree. One of the very few areas. China happens to be another area there. So, Joey, we've been talking about, you know, the GLP-1s as, you know, the rocket ship that they've been, you know, the last year or two. Does that continue now that you've got the U.S. government putting those companies in their sights?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. Donald was thinking about 100+% tariffs on some pharmaceuticals coming into the country, which is absolutely insane. I think that's something positive. We know how popular this is. You see the commercial literally everywhere, and you're getting the alternatives as well, too. But as for the individuals who are coming out with the oral pill, I think that's even better because that will be substantially cheaper. So, I mean, the cost of them might even come down a little bit more, Sharif, because the refrigeration and the storage costs might come down as well. Well, not they're going to come down, but they're not going to be as hefty. So what does that do? That's going to increase the margins. I think that's really positive for the space. And for the individuals who are looking to continuously indulge in this, by all means, and to each their own. But yeah, I mean, continue with what is going on. I like the fact that they might come down in price, even though I personally wouldn't use them. I like the oral pill as well because it's going to go into different countries that don't necessarily have the same storage capacities. So mass adoption across the world, and we've seen how these drugs took it by storm.
All right, just before we go to Adara, I want to shout out aggressive traders. Calling out ARTV, good breakout there. So this one was moving yesterday and the aftermarket around 410. Aftermarket high of around 684, pre-market high of 7. Both of those levels got decimated. 729 high, up 148%. Traded very carefully. As you see, it has outsized moves both to the upside and the downside. ARTV, the ticker. Shout out to aggressive traders. All right, Adara, this is one of your wheelhouses here. What do you make of this headline?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this, some of which I've expressed before, but I think the main thing that I want to emphasize, I said Novo Nordisk is maybe going to be in a little bit of trouble here because they are a European company. They're not in the U.S. like Eli Lilly. And again, Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks has an excellent relationship with U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, there's a couple of reasons we know that. We'll say 3. There are 3 reasons that we know they have a good relationship. 1, David Ricks reportedly was one of the healthcare CEOs, along with Albert Bourla of Pfizer and the CEO of Regeneron, who met up with Trump like before his inauguration. So that's the first clue. The second clue is when they sent out those tariff letters, those 3 gentlemen were the only people to be named with their first name. So that's how we know he likes David Ricks. And then 3, a couple weeks ago when he announced the Pfizer deal, he said, oh, Eli Lilly is doing really wonderful things. So he likes Eli Lilly. I think of Eli Lilly versus Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly's in a much better position here. They are U.S.-based. They have committed so much money to manufacturing in the U.S., and they're much more likely to strike a deal. In fact, Trump indicated that they might be one of the next companies to strike a deal. And you can also see that reflected in the price action this morning. Eli Lilly, sure, it was lower, but there wasn't really any significant volume, and this name can do volume pre-market with Catalyst, believe me, I know. Novo Nordisk, though, actually did have the volume to the downside, so I think I would view it, the market seems to view, this is a worse story for Novo than it's going to be for Lilly, but I want to see how everything ends up shaking out. Again, I think any company that can make those Trump RX deal is positioning themselves really well. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Meta making a record $30 billion financing for Louisiana AI data center. So let's talk about this. So Meta is finalizing a $30 billion financing package for its Hyperion data center in rural Louisiana. This is the largest private capital deal on record, according to our friends at Bloomberg. The financing includes the following. It's going to be $27 billion in debt, $2.5 billion in equity. It's going to be structured again through this vehicle we've been talking about. If you remember, I think we were talking about this with CoreWeave or some other company. It's going to be structured through a special purpose vehicle, an SPV led by Morgan Stanley. Meta is not borrowing directly. Instead, it's going to be the SPV, the special purpose vehicle, that's going to handle the debt while Meta acts as the developer, operator, and tenant. What's the purpose of that? It keeps the debt off Meta's books, which is accounting bamboozlement, of course, as we know. The completion for the data center, this specific one in Louisiana, is expected to be done by 2029. Meta's partner in all this is going to be Blue Owl Capital, which will co-own the real estate site upon which the data center is going to be built. Meta is going to retain a 20% ownership stake in that as well. Just a day earlier as well, kind of to build on the insanity of the CapEx that Meta's been deploying the last couple of years, they announced $1.5 billion investment into the El Paso, Texas data center, which is its 29th data center globally, bro.
That's crazy.
29 data centers.
But why are they putting these data centers in such areas that are hot? Like, why?
I think what's happening, Joey, they're looking for jurisdictions with cheap energy. And then the cheap energy, they're just jumping all over that, right? Because you know, it's super energy.
Because it doesn't make
heavy.
much sense to put these data centers in Louisiana, El Paso, Texas.
Probably a combination of things like real estate price, right?
A lot of
energy
things that coming into factor. I mean, you must take into consideration everything to maybe like say, hey, what's it like to put it in northern Alberta or something along those lines? Or that's what I would go somewhere
absolutely.
Cooler, man.
What are you talking about? What's his name? O'Leary, your boy O'Leary's building out there.
In BC, isn't it?
I think it's Alberta.
Is it Alberta? I thought it was, okay, yeah. So yeah, shout out. I mean, more data centers in Canada would be good. I mean, energy isn't that cheap.
Davey Trader, great call as well. Water to help cool.
Water to help. Okay,
which makes
water to help
sense,
cool. All right,
right?
Cool. So contaminate that.
You gotta be near water.
Just in case you want to contaminate that as well.
Well, that's what they're doing. Remember SMCI? Part of their cooling systems for their server racks were water-based, so you didn't have to use as much electricity in the cooling aspect of things. So apparently that's how.
No, I mean, by all means, man, Marx is going to continue to sell. I mean, spend this money on his AI build out. We're seeing this across the board in a lot of these names, and there you go. He's getting a new one. Financing is approved. So once they break ground there, that's going to get rocking and rolling, and you're going to see it through a lot of these names. We have the likes of Alibaba building them in Brazil and all these other different countries. Amazon is continuously building them. Same with NVDA, they're building some as well too. So these guys are spending the cash and will continue to do so until the AI build out starts to cool off, and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Peter, great comment by Peter Mosbach. A lot of data centers were looking at Norway because of the cold. They build it inside the mountains for stable temperature. Thank you. Great comment there, brother. Why not use the natural surroundings, whether that's water or the regular climate, to cool? And we know they probably heat up a storm. All right, Adara, what do you make of this? Yet another big spend by Zuck.
Yeah, honestly, my thing with this is, and this might be a controversial opinion, but it's mine, and I will back it up if required. I think this is kind of a nothing burger. Why are we excited about this? We're excited about this because it is the largest private capital deal in record, right? I think it's more the size of it, the scope of it, that is exciting, and less that there is another data center, because as we mentioned, they have quite a few, right? I think that's honestly my opinion. I also think this is probably a better look for any utilities plays in the area than it would be for Meta, because again, these utilities names are usually, in a lot of ways, poised to benefit the most from these types of deals. If you guys remember Project Stargate that day, sure, we had big pops up at names like Oracle, but the names that lasted throughout the day, it wasn't Oracle. It was VST Vistra, which was the utilities play associated with that, right? So I think that's maybe more the way to play this. I just checked, though, the utilities names did nothing on this, so in my opinion, not much of a big deal as of yet, beyond the fact that it is a record-breaking private capital deal.
All right, thank you, Darren. I like this because people are keep calling, and they keep making comparisons between the AI trade and the dot-com bubble. So I think the market is very sensitive to continued build-out. So even though this might not be a big deal for Zuck, because it doesn't move the needle for him on any meaningful basis in the moment, it helps investors gauge whether the money's still being spent on AI and the AI trade is still intact. So I think it's relevant for that. We'll have to wait and see if anybody else keeps spending, but we'll go on to the next one.
No one's saying, Hypercube is saying underwater data centers are a real
said
thing.
LOL. I don't know if that's real.
No, I think you said they're very real. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is he actually?
Sharif, my
not
question,
joking, they're real. That's
Sharif,
crazy,
what happens to the point, I don't know, and again, I'm just thinking, I'm just trying to be forward thinking.
Yeah, man.
What happens if we find a significant way, kind of like the quantum computing, what if we find a significant, more efficient way to store data? What's going to happen to all of these?
Of course, bro.
You think it's almost inevitable?
Disruptive technology,
right?
just like Uber and taxis.
Exactly.
You don't have a right to be in business, Joey. That's what my old man used to tell me. The market determines whether you're in business or not, right?
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
So, like,
disruptive technology.
And then all of this spending is essentially gone for nothing if someone just comes out with that new technology that can store 10 times the amount of data in half the fraction or a fraction of the cost or something.
Well said, man. Yeah. I did not know about this underwater stuff, bro. I need to look into this.
Microsoft
has underwater data. Guys, I've never heard of this, and I cover this stuff every day. I've never read it once. That means I need to do more work, Joey. That's what. AI again making moves here. Last time it was they're rolling out, autonomous driving in certain Chinese cities. Today they're launching with Stellantis to reach, of course, that robo-taxi in Europe. So here's what we're talking about. Pony AI announced a new partnership with Stellantis to test self-driving taxis in Europe, beginning, of course, in Luxembourg. Well, I don't know why I said of course. In the coming months, so not that long from now. The project will begin public first major move beyond Asia and the US. Under the agreement, here's the deal. Pony AI provides the autonomous driving software, while Stellantis, for their part, they're going to contribute the electric vehicles, starting with the Peugeot e-Traveler. I need to see what this one looks like, Joey, so we're going to have to pause here for a second. I need to see. I need to see immediately what it looks like.
Let's pull it. All right,
we're going to do it live. Get out of the...
Doing it right now?
Here, I got it.
All right.
One of these weird European things over here.
What are they?
Well, I mean, that makes sense because it's going to be a taxi, right?
What do the UK men call it? Man, them call it?
I don't know, bro.
A sprinter van?
Yeah, there's a sprinter van, but that's like Benz. But yeah, it used to be Stellantis, but not anymore. Let's keep going on here. So Stellantis Chief Engineering and Technology Officer Ned Curich, he praised Pony AI for their technical depth and cooperative model, calling the company one of the best players in the industry. We already know Stellantis has already built vehicle systems that are optimized for autonomous integration. That's a good move by them, positioning themselves as the hardware enabler and leaving that software to somebody else. Case in point, Pony. Just keeping an eye here. So Pony, as I mentioned, is based in China and the US. It's now accelerating its global expansion, as I mentioned, into Europe. Next stage for them, apparently, after the US, China, and Europe, is going to be the Middle East, MENA, Middle East and North Africa, following successful deployments, of course, in Beijing and Guangzhou. So Joey, we talk a lot about Tesla.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about Waymo.
Yep.
Are we going to start talking about Pony?
I think we talk about Zoox before we talk about Pony.
I respect that.
But as for the software stuff, Sharif, I don't know. So I think it's a really tough scenario that we're sitting in right now because we know that Tesla has the production capabilities. So with the hardware, they're good. Software struggling a little bit. We had that instance where there was the recalls. They were running through red lights. You went through that scenario and everything. And it's the total opposite with Waymo. The software, much easier. Using LiDAR, it holds the ground. So essentially what it does is just maps it. It does this 3D map, essentially. It stores it, and everything that is permanent stays there. That's not necessarily the case with LiDAR, but we know with Waymo, there's production issues. Tesla can create 6 robo-taxis to every one Waymo car. $230K a vehicle, I think that's going to be an issue. Pony AI coming in with the software, that can be really huge. So for me, what I'm getting at with this is, what do you think it's better to have, Sharif? The software or the hardware in this robo-taxi?
Software, and here's why, bro. Anybody can put together the hardware. We know you can get LiDAR from China. You can put together. It's really about the software and being able to absorb the information and digest it. That's kind of how I feel.
You don't think that the production cost is going to come into factor with Waymo?
No, you're absolutely 100%. So if you're vertically integrated like Tesla is, you're making the car and you're making the software, you're not going to convince me you're going to have worse margins than a company that has to do both separately. No, absolutely not.
Like $250,000.
I agree with you 100%.
How much do you think we can get those costs down in Waymo? Because right now it's around $250,000 to make a vehicle. Tesla's creating 6 of those for every one Waymo vehicle.
All right, Joey, let's just, before we go to Adara, shout out to Ben Jones. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you for all the content. Love the analysis and the Canadian accents. That's hilarious. The big boys doing it live. Shout out to the man, Ben Jones. All right, Adara, Pony AI looking to deal with Stellantis. What's your take?
Yeah, I think one thing I do want to say as well here is that speaking of Europe with Stellantis, the UK reportedly closing on a drug pricing deal with the White House. That's reported by the Financial Times. We did get a bit of a move here from AstraZeneca on that. They're British, Swedish, though it is worth noting they already have their own deal with the US. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, for me with Pony AI, I think it's a good look, but it's not something, it's interesting enough, not something that the stock really reacted to. Like I saw this morning, it had volume, but it didn't really have that drive that I was really expecting to the upside, at least right now. I don't think that the market super cares about it. And I know I bring it back to the market a lot, but I think it's fair, because we're a trading show, to kind of think about, you know, is this something that traders are processing or interested in right now, right? Like this whole idea of, are there buyers, are there sellers, what's the sentiment there? I think with Pony, there's just not too much excitement around it right now. Like we already kind of gave up any move to the upside that we did have. I think it's a good look for Stellantis though too, which I know kind of an odd take. This is ostensibly a better catalyst for Pony than it is for Stellantis, but Stellantis here, I mean, it's a good way for them to expand into that autonomous driving place, right? The self-driving taxi. I would honestly think it's almost analogous to what happened between our friend Google and Waymo. Now, obviously, Google is more of a tech company than a car company, but the point stands, these companies that want to get into the autonomous driving game but don't necessarily have the technology to do it themselves, they're collaborating. I think that's a smart move, and I wonder if other car makers are going to start doing the same thing so that they compete more accurately with Tesla and its robo-taxis. One more thing that I just saw that is not super related to the market, but I think is fascinating, that I just saw, and I Googled to make sure it was real. Apparently, Mr. Beast has filed a trademark for Mr. Beast Financial, which is going to be a banking and fintech service for his 445 million subscribers. So Mr. Beast entering the fintech game, guys.
All right, F5 dropping big overnight. I want to show you guys this. 345, we were dealing, we were fine, we're putting in higher highs, higher lows. I want to point your attention to these lines. The blue is the exponential 200 and the purple is the simple 200. Look at this hold right now. I'm not telling you to buy, I'm just showing you what it did during the tariff tantrum as well. Back in April, it held this level. So this is FFIV. F5, it is a cybersecurity company, and let's talk about why it dropped bigly like that. It plunged after a state-backed hack was disclosed. So F5 Networks, again, FFIV, in case you guys don't know the ticker, fell big on Thursday, marking their worst day since April of 2022. Oh no, after revealing a long-term system breach by a highly sophisticated nation-state threat actor. Who were we thinking here? It's two. I got two thoughts. And those are quotes, by the way. I didn't make those up. The hack targeted F5's big IP product development environment, which exposed the source code and information about undisclosed vulnerabilities. Bloomberg reported that the attack was attributed to state-backed Chinese hackers hit at Assassino, citing sources familiar with the matter. F5 said it discovered the intrusion, of course, in August, but saw no signs of active exploitation or further unauthorized activity since the containment. Here are the details of the attack. So hackers gained stealthy access for over 12 months using malware strain called Brickstorm, not that I know about that, believed to originate in China per Google Threat Intelligence Team. Brickstorm is known for enabling long-term undetected access, averaging about 393 days in victim systems, according to Mandiant. I don't know who they are. While F5 declined to confirm Bloomberg's details, and the company did tell clients that the malware had compromised internal systems for at least a year. The attack exposed potential undisclosed security flaws, though F5 insisted none were critically or actively exploited, Joey. All right, let's just get right down to it, okay? This is going to be a persistent problem for the foreseeable future. Maybe quantum changes all that because of
fight fire with fire.
Exactly. But for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a game of cat and mouse. You got your Pan Dubs, CrowdStrike, FNet, or whoever,
Zscaler.
Joey.
Yep.
The Zscaler, thank you.
Yep.
They're all going to be reacting and or, trying to predict.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
mean,
think?
Will, we seen, what was it on CrowdStrike, that software update that just tanked everything at that one point
Exactly.
as well, too.
The outage, Joey.
Yeah, exactly, the outage. Still struggling from that. I don't know very much about that company, but cybersecurity, I think it's going to be really important, as Sharif mentioned, as we're just leaning more and more on tech. Sam Altman's most definitely going to need it. He's probably going to be looking at hacks and OpenAI. But as for FFIV, same thing. People are saying, why are you scared of the market? Well, again, we've seen this scenario on multiple occasions, right? This isn't like that one biotech stock that we were talking about not too long ago, but still, that's not a good thing to wake up to. You close around, what, 3:30, and then you wake up the next day around 288 bucks. It's not fun. Should that spook you out? No, it's not fun.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, if the fundamentals of the company are still relatively strong, the hack's done now. It's over. Hopefully they got everything cleared up. This stock, I know nothing about it, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. We could go across the board in a lot of the cybersecurity names, Sharif. Some good stuff. SIBR, right?
Oh.
This is the ETF.
Yep.
Right? So that looks pretty good, not too bad. And then this name, CYBR.
I don't anticipate this space getting weaker, bro.
No, there's zero.
What do you
there's
mean?
Zero chance. As we're learning more digital, it's probably only going to get stronger.
Exactly.
Think about it. When the finance companies start putting their work on the blockchain, obviously it's going to be defended by the individual staking, but you still need additional security, in my opinion.
Man.
So I mean, CyberArk, I like this name a lot. This is on the Israeli market. I didn't know that.
Really?
But yeah,
I didn't know that
LTD
either.
Israel right there. So
your boy Nimrod might have a little bit
Nimrod
of
might like that one. I haven't heard from him in a while. I thought he was coming here soon.
He said we're gonna have to send him a message.
We're gonna have to send him a message. He's probably listening right now. But no, in all seriousness, cybersecurity, I think the green light is go. If you have ability to employ a little bit more capital into FFIV, I would do so off of that sell-off. 16% down off of that previous high.
This is a pretty bad attack, Adara. Yeah. I mean, they were in their systems for over a year. What do you make of this whole thing?
I mean, like I said, I'm always going to look at how did the market react to it. And honestly, it didn't really. We actually had, we opened relatively flat. Right now, kind of curling. Volume on this is less than 600,000 shares. So super, super low volume. And again, usually for something like this, specifically with a hack, we talked about this last week too with regards to Salesforce. What I like to see is the stock gapping down with significant volume? Because if it isn't, then I'm going to kind of wonder if this is something that the market is, super caring about. And in the case of F5, we did not have that. Same with what happened with our friend Salesforce, no reaction at all. So again, that's kind of how I choose to read these types of stories. Again, not saying that it's not a serious attack, but I'm saying from my perspective here at the news desk, for trading purposes, I don't think it's something that the market seems to care about an awful lot. And maybe that's a boring answer, but it's my take. And I think that's, when I'm at this news desk, I'm going to look at it from the perspective of, is this news the market cares about? So I want to let you guys know, Trump-Ukraine meeting just started. I'm going to be listening to that. Yeah, I think with this, though, we're going to have to wait and see what the consequences are. Hopefully, this all gets resolved to some extent, but it is pretty scary that there were foreign actors. I think that is certainly the thing to keep in mind here.
It's down 15%, Adara. So the market did react.
Yesterday.
15%?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yesterday then.
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay, this is a day two play then.
All right, no worries. On to the next story. Let's go here. Let's see what we got with Apple developing touchscreen MacBook Pro. They said it wouldn't happen, but home robots are also coming. So let's talk about this. So Apple is developing its first touchscreen MacBook Pro with targeted release dates. The window is going to be late 2026 or early 27. That's according to Bloomberg. The upcoming laptop codenamed K114 and K116 are going to feature OLED displays, the same technology used on the iPhones and the iPads, but will be thinner and lighter than the current models. They're also going to include that next-gen M6 chip, which will follow Apple's newly launched, of course, M5. That is the latest one. The move could mark Apple's biggest Mac redesign shift in years, bridging the gap, of course, between its Mac and iPad systems. And that's kind of why I said they said it would never happen, because Apple didn't want that overlap between the iPad and the Mac, and now I guess they're going to get forced into it. They're also looking to expand their ecosystem. So on Wednesday, they unveiled their latest iPad Pro, MacBook Pro, and Vision Pro, all powered by, again, that latest chip, the M5, with the release date scheduled for all three of those products, October 22nd. The company also looking to expand, their manufacturing in Vietnam, Joey, focusing on that next-gen smart home device, and that's what I'm talking about there. So these products is going to be, according to reports, we haven't seen anything, of course, a tabletop robot rumored for launch around 2027 that may serve as a smart home assistant and potentially, of course, integrate with Apple's AI ecosystem. I saw pictures of this thing.
Yeah.
Who knows whether that's real or not? Probably not real.
Let me see.
I'll pull it up in a second, but apparently it's like a display screen.
Yeah.
With like a connecting device to a round base, and so that it sits on the table, and the screen can kind of like move around and just follow you around the room, and it displays off. It looks like the Google Nest, but a smart robotic version of that.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of this.
For all my reality TV fans, I was thinking of a Lana. For those who know what I'm referring to, Adara, maybe you do. I don't think you like that one, but it's too hot to handle is essentially what I'm getting at. That little robot that speaks to them. Anyways, aside from that, Shreve, I'd like that you brought up the point, hey, what does this mean for iPad? So if they're coming in with a touchscreen MacBook, does that really, obviously there's going to be a significant price difference, but is that going to sway people from buying the iPad and just getting right into the MacBook? Because what do you need both of them for if they're both touchscreen?
That's why they didn't want to get involved,
exactly,
Joey.
right? So now they're doing it. Totally understandable. I get that. As for Apple's pipeline, I was talking to Shreve about it this morning, and we were talking a little bit about it today, is that Xiaomi phone. It's literally just a mimic of what Apple was doing. I thought that was a little bit interesting as well, too. But you know what, Shreve? We said this for a while now. I think we have to come to the realization that Apple is going to continuously lack on the innovative front, and they're just going to have high-quality products. So,
I agree with that.
Right?
I don't know, but I hope they continue to innovate, but they have high quality products.
They have very good quality products, but I think they kind of lack on the innovation side. This thing looks all right, I guess.
It's so stupid.
I mean, hey, what is it?
Show this thing.
It's like an iPad
like
on
nobody
on
knows,
a lamp.
Joey, what it's going to look like because Apple, they're not going to show it to you for their life, right?
Well, I think it's in Tim's best interest that he doesn't show us what it is because of what happened with the Apple Intelligence release. So until it's 100% ready, don't drop a thing. And could it be a needle mover? I think so. People love their smart home integrations, so I think this could be a solid addition to the home, like Alexa and everything along those lines.
All right, Adara, we know how you feel about Apple and their timing and their statements about future products. Give us your take on this.
I mean, we kind of have here at least an actual general release date. That is good. Let's see if they stick to it. I think because it's a physical product, that might be a lot easier too to actually roll out with as compared to AI, which, less physical, whatever. Let's see, though. I mean, this is just a report right now with regards to these touchscreen MacBook Pros. They haven't announced it itself, the way they did with Apple AI, so I can't get too upset with them for having a target window that's just a report that they haven't said themselves. So we'll have to wait and see here. I think the bigger issue, though, is what they're doing here with their supply chains, and I think this could be something that comes back to bite them. So we know yesterday, there were already reports of this, but then yesterday China's foreign minister comes out and says, hey, Apple hung out with our commerce minister, CEO Tim Cook, met with our commerce minister, and they're committing to ongoing manufacturing in China. Now, we know Trump already didn't like when they were doing things in India. I don't know how this is going to go over, and I certainly think that keeping a good relationship with the U.S. is in every company's best interest, but especially Tim Cook and Apple, because we know his relationship with the Trump administration, specifically the first administration, has been a bit tenuous in the past. So to me, I actually think that's an important relationship for them to maintain. I don't know how that whole China thing is going to go on, but yeah, I mean, I like that they're expanding into Vietnam. I don't think it's a bad thing to have your hands in multiple pies when it comes to where you're manufacturing products. I just think the vocal commitment to China could be a bit dicey.
All right, thank you for that. I want to point out NUAI, guys, is breaking out into the high of the day, 398, about to take out 4. This is the daily, so I just want to show you that this is not a one-off and it never shows up again. It's been breaking out, and basically since September, we're on a rampage. Let's just take the September lows to the top highs there, up 1,600%. into the high. So that is the daily. I want to show you the 5-minute here because we're accumulating for a $4 break. NUAI looking real good. Shout out to Bovin who did point this one out to me yesterday. Not up that big, 25%, but as I tried to point out, this one doesn't seem like it's just only for a good time, not a long time. It's putting higher highs and higher lows every day. Let's talk about Oracle, man, because Oracle's been all sorts of volatile lately. Shares rose about 3.1% yesterday intraday after kind of giving that back. 2%, dropping 2% after hours. The intraday move here was executives coming out, defending their profit margins on its AI cloud rental business. And then that was during the trading day when it popped up. Then the aftermarket dropped 2%. Because the long-term financial guidance took focus. Now, the rally follows Oracle's pushback against a report from the information claiming that its AI server rental business only had 14% gross margins. And you're going to hear why I say the word only in a second when I talk about their competitor and how much they're making. Oracle denies these 14% gross margins. They say that that's bupkis. That's BS. They clarified the gross margins across their full contract life cycles is actually 35%, not 14%, with the early phases impacted by what they're saying is heavy data center build-out costs before customer billings begin. And that in lies where the discrepancy is between what the information is reporting and what Oracle is saying. Now, just to give you as a benchmark with respect to gross margins, CoreWeave, which is a competitor of theirs, of course, reported 51% gross margins in last quarter. That ain't a future date, baby. That's how much they're making in the past. They had 51% gross margins. One can only assume they stay or maybe drop a little bit as more competition comes in. Oracle, as we know, upgraded their 2030 forecast revenue not that long ago during the earnings report for their AI cloud infrastructure unit to 166 billion. That was up from 144, implying, Joseph, a 75% CAGR, compounding annual growth rate, from 10 billion for full year 2025.
Yeah, that's crazy. So before we touch on that, someone asked me about Webull. I thought we were going to get a bounce off of these levels, but you can see we're heading into some key support. So you might be heading towards that next level. That's going to be $10 roughly on Webull. And I was looking to buy it, but it's not doing what we want to. It's still continuously in the downtrend. No, but Sharif.
Yes, sir.
As for the margins with Oracle, that was the first thing brought to attention when we heard that they're going to be taking Google's backlog. It's like, what are the margins going to be like this? They have to have more of a build out. And sure enough, we're talking about it here today. Let's see come the report. I think that's going to be real important. They're going to be claiming, hey, it's more along the lines of 30%, 35%. Well, guess what? The numbers don't lie. We're going to wait for that report to come out. And most definitely, Adair and I are going to be keeping an eye on that guidance because we want to see if they're going to be still remain as bullish as they have been for the previous quarters and for the how many years did they guide out, like 5 or 6 or
30 to 2030.
Another 4 years. So yeah, let's see what Oracle's got going on.
All right, man. I know Adair has been covering this, but our friend Donald making comments. Apparently, he's with Zelensky, and Zelensky's wearing a suit today, so it's a good day. Apparently, according to people in the chat, I haven't quite seen him. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's got a black on black on black.
Well, he learned
suit.
his lesson from last time.
Well, he's right there. Shout out to the Z-Man. All right, Adair, what do you make of this Oracle
Okay, I smell a giant rat with Oracle, but before I get to said ginormous rat, I do want to talk here quickly about Tesla, ISS, which is the Institutional Shareholder Services. They are a proxy advisory firm. They're basically saying that they oppose Tesla's CEO package for Elon Musk, and they're encouraging shareholders to vote against it. Did not really move the stock, and again, shareholders for Tesla are going to do what they do, so probably not a huge catalyst, but I want to let you know that that's happening anyway. A proxy advisory firm urging shareholders to vote against the Elon Musk proposal. Now, let's talk about Oracle. So this is kind of weird, right? September 9th, just over a month ago, we hear $144 billion in revenue here for cloud infrastructure by 2030, which is already pretty massive. Then somehow, like 40 days later, this number has increased by 22 billion? I have questions. I have a lot of questions, and honestly, I'm pretty shook by this because I already thought that these projections are pretty lofty, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think the projections very much speak for themselves. But the fact that they're now increasing these projections, I don't know, I don't really know what they're doing here, but I find it interesting too that we'll get these pops in the stock. on these numbers, and it'll come right back down like nothing ever happened. So I wonder if the market, like myself, is maybe smelling a bit of a rat, or at the very least getting tired of Oracle doing the same thing all the time. Now, the other thing I want to mention that I thought was very spicy was one of the things that they said yesterday that pushed the market higher was they talked about, oh, we've seen this growth for our cloud infrastructure revenue in Q1 2026. Yeah, well, Oracle, you already reported Q1 2026. That was the quarter you just reported. So now you are re-reporting numbers. I find that to be very, very unethical, especially during the day. Why are you restating the numbers that you've already reported on earnings? Now, I know I'm getting very upset about this, but I do find it to be pretty dishonest and a little bit shady to be like, oh, we've seen this revenue during the quarter, but you already reported for the quarter. So I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens here. I have not seen any analysts kind of have the same take as me yet, which is interesting, but I wonder if and when the tide turns on Oracle. I suspect it will. Let's see what happens to the stock and the company, because I don't think it's a very good look.
Thank you for that. All right, let's go on to AST SpaceMobile. Downgraded after that massive rally. No, you were talking about this one in the morning. So, yeah, we'll talk about ASTS is the ticker, of course, ASTS. We used to joke about this one as a small cap gapper, and then it got real. So let's talk about why Barclays is downgrading today. So they dropped the overweight rating to underweight. Keeping the price target, though, exactly where it is at 60 bucks, basically citing overvaluation after the 324% year-to-date rally that the stock's been on. Again, that percentage increase is at the time of the writing of this article. It could be a little bit different now. The stock's doubled, Joey, from 48 to 96. Barclays says the stock's current valuation reflects overextended momentum with a beta, this is your world right here, of 2.41, indicating high volatility. Despite the downgrade, Barclays estimates a potential upside of about $125 a share. I guess that's their bull case, without maybe saying that that's their bull case. If the company, again, if the company executes on its roadmap, but warns of execution and valuation risk, of course. Let's talk about the satellite launch and their expansionary plans. AST Mobile confirmed launches for its next-gen Bluebird 2 satellites starting, yes, this year, targeting 45 to 60 satellites launched by the end of next year, 2026. These satellites are larger and more complex than the previous versions, but they're untested in orbit, so there's more risk there, contributing, of course, to that higher risk to reward cost. The company's limited current fleet, which is only 5 satellites right now, means revenue scaling remains contingent on future launches and performance. Some major telecom partners there that are coming in, though, they've made a deal. They struck a landmark deal, Joey, with Verizon to offer direct-to-device satellite connectivity in the U.S. starting next year, allowing your smartphone to connect directly to satellites without extra hardware. It also completed successful tests with a company in this country, Bell Canada, demonstrating 4G voice and video calls, Joey, plus broadband. Bell, for their part, if you're Canadian, they're planning a $10 to $15 a month customer offering using AST's network. Before we get your take, Joey, let's send it to Adara first.
I want to tell you guys here, a bit of a push up here for the market as Trump speaks positively about China and also China President Xi. He's saying that it looks like the meeting's going forward. He has a very good relationship with Xi, and that the U.S. is getting along with China. So Trump's saying, again, things seem to be all well with China, and he confirmed they are going to be doing that meeting in a couple weeks, as far as he can tell. Back to you.
Hey, Joey, so do you like this space-to-phone business? So I guess let's just do a thought experiment here, okay?
What's Elon's company? Starlink.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah. It's fantastic. But we're talking about terrestrial towers. Like if anybody has seen what's it called, AST, I think it's a tower REIT. So they just buy land, Joey, or they lease land, and they put the towers on them, and they sublease them to your Bell and your Rogers and everything. Does that business go away, or does it kind of coexist with space? So that's my first question. Second question is, right now, this is the best kind of mobile device, personal use device we have. That doesn't mean it's going to be that in the future. We talked about wearables. We talked about other form factors. Do you think that space-to-device technology is also possibly transferable onto other wearables, not just the smartphone. So even if the smartphone goes, the idea, the concept of having connectivity wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, to answer the first question there, Shreve, I think the cell phone towers, you will start to see a decrease in that, right? Because we already have the likes of Rogers who's offering that service already. So you can get the direct to satellite. You can be wherever you want on the planet and still have some connectivity. That's so what is that going to do? Yeah, it's going to probably phase out the typical cell phone tower and everything along those lines. Second question, is it going to translate to wearables and other devices?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the thing, right? How are you going to make more money? How are you going to intrigue? What is that next wave of the consumer going to be? What is that next wave of products going to come out with? And hey, if it's going to be directly from space to your wearable, to your watch, or to your sunglasses, best believe if they have high margins and they can profit off of it, these companies will do it.
All right, before we send it to Adara, I just want to give you two other pieces of information here, Assassino. The company filed a secondary Class A share offering of $800 million. I think that I don't know if they offered it quite yet or they have the ability to do it. So they're obviously looking at raising more money. It's a capital-intensive game. And the short interest still sits at 16% despite the big move up. All right, Adara, give us your take on this headline.
I really don't have too much to say about AST SpaceMobile. I'm going to be really honest here. It's not a space that I understand super well. I think the fact that they kept the price target the same is fair, and I think it shows that, like, hey, we're not eating on the company. Just like right now, valuation's a concern. It seems pretty cut and dry, and I just don't have anything to add. But I do want to talk here about AIRO, which is moving up a little bit here. Now, AIRO is moving up here on speculation with regards to Ukraine and drones. Trump made it clear that he's interested potentially in Ukrainian drones, and know that Aero Group apparently earlier signed a letter of intent with Bullet to form a joint venture advancing Ukraine-developed interceptor drones for the U.S. So AIRO could be a benefit here with UK drones. Also, we just had Scott Bassett making some comments about China. He's also a little bit more optimistic than he sounded previously, including earlier this week when he was quite hawkish with regards to the relationship with China. He said that he's going to be speaking to his Chinese counterpart this evening, echoing reports from earlier today.
All right, thank you. Interactive Brokers reported earnings. Calm down, Joey. Posted earnings yesterday, and it was a strong Q3 earnings report on trading surge. So let's talk about IBKR. They reported a sharp increase, guys, in client trading activity. Surprise there, with stock volumes of 67%, and Joey options volume is as well, up 27% year over year in Q3. Futures volumes, though, slipped. I guess people don't like the future. 7%, but overall client engagement remained high amid a volatile yet upward, of course, trending market. Customer accounts, Joey, jumped 32% year over year on the quarter, up to 4.1 million, while customer equity, the amount of money that they're depositing with IBKR, surged 40% up now to $757.5 billion. That's how much money they're holding for clients, of course. Management described Q3, Joey, as a wall of worry rally, with traders actively buying dips and showing resilience to macro uncertainty, such as, of course, the U.S. government shutdown. They observed consistent buying pressure, though, among top active names, reflecting confidence in a market rebound. The executives of the company also noted rising retail interest in, of course, you guessed it, AI-related stocks, fueling the higher trading volumes and commissions. In case you're worried, or you're interested, I should say, in their actual earnings report, net income, $263 million, up from $184 last year. Adjusted EPS came in at 57 pennies, beating the 54 expected by the street, and revenue climbed 21% year over year, now coming in at 1.66 billion, beating the 1.3, Joey, on the quarter. So beat on the top and bottom line, and a lot of other good metrics there that we mentioned.
Yeah, listen, I can't speak highly enough about it. Sometimes the platform will frustrate you. It sucks. But as for an actual brokerage, fees and everything along those lines, second to none in my opinion. Growth across the platform. We've seen customer accounts go up to 4.1 million. That's fantastic. It's not the growth that we've seen in Robinhood, but it's still substantial, right? You're in the double digits. A couple quarters ago, Robinhood was putting in triple-digit growth across its platform, but IBKR, absolutely fantastic. And that's, again, I can't praise it anymore. I like everything that's going along the lines with this company, and I would personally love to get to own it because I use it as well, too. So,
all right.
yeah.
Adara, what do you make of this IB report? Good look or not so good?
Yeah, I think it was a great report. Sometimes, you know, we think stocks go up on earnings, they go down, or they just don't react too much. This has been not super reactive today. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this report I found to be really, really impressive. Now, the one issue is there was a decline year over year, a slight decline with their futures trading volumes, but options and equities higher. So it seems like, again, volume has been pretty strong. Customer equity, as we mentioned, they're up 40%. Net interest income, which I think is one of the biggest things that we look at for banks, was up 21% year over year. So it is, you know, hitting all the milestones that it should hit from a financial institution perspective. Again, market reaction here doesn't quite make sense, but it doesn't have to. I think this was a solid report.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Adara said. And with reports like this, I was telling Sharif, and I hid the ticker on it. I said, do you buy a name like this? With a report, you've seen the growth in options activity, trading volumes, accounts growing as well too. The only, I guess, if you want to say the wrong thing with it was a small decline in futures trading. That's small potatoes. That's irrelevant because the growth is substantially larger than what the decline is in the futures trading. You buy the dip on IBKR every day of the week.
All right, guys, it is 2:02. So your boy Obi and your other boy Neil, they owe us a couple of minutes.
On Monday, we're gonna tax Katina Man.
I know. It says Katina Man right there, Assassino.
You're getting taxed, brother.
All right, guys. It's been real. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. And yeah, Joseph and I will see you on Monday. I'll see you guys very shortly at the big desk. Send him off, Joey.